Let me see your identification.
What did you say? I'll tighten those restraints. Scavenger scum.
We don't need to see his identification.
I will remove these restraints and leave the cell with the door open.
My lord.
Controver. 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 Hello? Hello? I think that's the right one. People, can you hear me?
Hello. Can you hear us now?
Hello?
Hello.
Is it us you're looking for?
Could you please let us know if you can hear us?
Nothing? Hold on, I'm typing the chat.
Oh, reshoot it.
Oh, we got sound now. Okay.
Right. No.
I mean, we could just restart the intro. No, fuck it.
No,
it's too far gone. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to wait for the audio version to come out.
Exactly.
And then sync that with the YouTube.
Right.
And then you can see what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Just another reason for you to download the audio podcast.
That's right.
Which should be available tonight.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yes, it'll be available tonight. So you can hear our wonderful skit that we did.
Yeah. So, anyway, as I was saying, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, playing with our toys, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I am Mr. Jason Roscom, with me here each and every single week, the Anakin / Darth Vader to my Chancellor / Emperor Palpatine. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I am okay.
Just okay?
It's Monday.
Yeah, that's true.
Last week was a long week, and I was happy it was over.
Mm-hmm.
And then the weekend went, and it was over. So
I know, that's always the way it goes.
It's like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
So, got through today. Really looking forward to doing this episode.
Hell yeah.
It gave me an excuse to watch episode 3, like, 3 times.
So what you're saying is we're talking about Star Wars Episode 3.
I'm pretty sure we're talking about Revenge of the Sith.
That's right. And why are we talking about it?
Well, it's celebrating its 20th anniversary this year.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, God, I almost did it.
One of these days we're going to get ourselves in too much trouble.
Why? Like, it's just... bleh, it's ready to slide out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway... 8 days.
What's in 8 days?
What's in 8 days?
The 15th, apparently.
Remember. Recorded in someone's basement sounds like.
Oh, motherfucker. Hang on, let me see.
I mean, it looks good there.
No, it's because I fucking turned off the the thing to try to. Oh yeah, because it's going off of the webcam. Oh no, wait, that's the camera.
The webcam's going off the webcam.
All right, let's see. Oh, this is what it's. They may not be hearing
I'm
us.
being dumb.
They can hear that. But this. All right, how about now? Do we sound normal now?
How about
Now?
now. Is there an echo? Echo.
I don't know.
I know who. Hello.
All right, we need some feedback from you guys out there. Oh, let me.
Not the reverberating kind.
Yeah.
Not the.
Is that a little Hendrix going on there? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. You sound Who Man. What does that mean?
Actually, if I was Hendrix, I'd be playing it left-handed.
What does Who Man mean?
You've never heard that?
No.
It's
I think you're just making shit up.
it's like been in memes and shit.
So what does it mean is the question.
Human.
It sounds better.
It's like on a pet. Think of it like how a dog would refer to you as a human.
Oh. Boy, we're getting off to a great start today. All right, why don't we kind of move on a little bit?
God, I'm sorry, I just stuck on the whammy bar there.
Yeah, I could tell. All right, let's talk about Patreon real quick, because we love our patrons and we always love to give them the respect they deserve. Frank Kalevich, Don Solsky, Helen Martin, Shotgun Mark, Nick from Sweet Studios, Scott and Kim from Used and Abused, Catherine Rinnick, Tina Land, Wally Frogmore, my wonderful mother-in-law Patricia Goodstein, Lord Helmet Fire, The Orange and Fett Show, Carly Vickers, David Schmuck, Chantal from Pop My Culture, Kristen Roscom, Sterling Azier, Dragon Buddy, Frederick Martin, and Nicholas Schaefer. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/thesidebarcantina. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this.
Sidebar headlines. From the office of Lunar Girl, Mercury retrograde ends tonight. If you know, you know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think that has to do with some astrology stuff.
Some witchcraft.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Is that why I feel like somebody's trying to break me in half?
That could be.
Is that why the pain slinky is happening?
It's all
like
about
to
that.
me all day?
All about that Mars
Because of
retrograde.
Mercury.
Oh, Mercury.
Yeah, Mars retrograde is that's a different pain.
Okay.
A Mercury retrograde apparently is like somebody's trying to snap me in half.
Okay. As opposed to trying to snap little parts of your body at a time.
Well, it is parts of my body, but it's happening like in a cycle.
Okay.
In the shape of a U.
All right. Moving on.
Being me is fun.
Yeah, it sounds it. For us Gen Xers, there's not much to do about Star Wars, but we lost a big actor.
We did
in the last week.
We absolutely did.
We lost Val Kilmer.
We did, and it happened fairly. It was fairly early in the week, right?
Yeah. I think it might have been like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah,
of last week. So, yeah, we lost Val Kilmer, and it's a shame. He was. In a lot of movies in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Very popular Gen X actor. And we thought we would commemorate this moment with a top 3 favorite Val Kilmer movies.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm going to go ahead and get us started, and I'm going to go number 3, Batman Forever. A lot of people forget that he was Batman for one movie, and this was the one where it was Jim Carrey was the Riddler and Tommy Lee Jones was Two-Face.
Right.
And, looking back on it, it wasn't the greatest movie out there, but at the time, it was huge. Like, made boatloads of money. Everybody went to go see it. Everybody was talking about it that summer of 95, so...
I think... So Val Kilmer came after...
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, he was the... It was tough to follow the Michael Keaton.
Right.
Batman.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of put him at a disadvantage for like, okay, who's your favorite Batman?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't put him up there as a favorite, but
Right.
I still enjoy the movie,
Yeah.
and his performance was fine.
Yeah. I mean, the suit was a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
He played the stoic guy, in the bat suit as good as anybody. I think that movie, Jim Carrey was probably the takeaway.
Yeah, the show stealer,
Yeah.
so to speak. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's my number 3 favorite Val Kilmer movie. What about you?
My number 3 was Top Gun 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a little cameo,
Mm-hmm.
but I think about when we were watching it and seeing him in it added some like level of like, I don't know, like validity to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, cuz you had this idea, I don't know. It made a lot of things happen kind of click in my brain, right? You had the the hot shot guy and like in Tom Cruise, and he's the guy that's usually not going to make it past fucking 04,
Right.
because he's
Which he didn't. He was still a captain or whatever.
well,
in
he made
Maverick.
06, but that's as far as he got.
Yeah.
And usually that person ends up in the guard and goes and flies in the guard until whatever,
Yeah.
with his airline job. He just happened to not do that, whereas Iceman fucking goes and becomes an admiral
Yeah.
and has all this pull, but still has that place for his wingman in
Yeah.
this whole thing.
So yeah, no, it was a good way of showing how their relationship went after the first movie, and
emoting, obviously having with the throat cancer and everything else, like you knew something had happened, but he still was able to emote and present himself in the character. So
all right, good one. Now, what about your number 2?
my number 2 was going to be Top Gun. And it's probably not fair because I said Top Gun 2 already, but fuck it. That's my number 2.
Yeah.
Top Gun. Look, because reasons previously said, Top Gun is one of those core movies for my character, for my character development as a airplane lover.
Mm-hmm.
Being a Navy brat, and it was all Navy and everything else. The movie itself, for me, is bigger than Val Kilmer in it.
Oh, of course.
Like, because when I imagine Top Gun, I really don't even think about Tom Cruise or, Kelly Preston or any of those people. I just think of the movie as a whole.
It's the greatest gay love story of our time. So.
Obviously. Go get me a volleyball and I'll get my dog tags out.
I want some butts.
And the irony of some of the things that you in your military career, you come to find that like some of that seems pretty believable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like, man, yeah, I'm willing to bet, especially in the 1980s, that some of that shit is 100% believable.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Top Gun. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
If you don't like Top Gun, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's fun. It's, again, you don't have to be you don't have to be a military enthusiast to get enjoyment out of it. It's yeah, it was a great movie, and that was my number 2 as well.
Nice.
So, moving on to my number 1, got to go with Tombstone.
Yes. My number 1's Tombstone also.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yes.
cuz fucking love that movie. And Val Kilmer's role, he stole the show in that movie,
yeah.
if you ask me.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I liked what was his name? Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell was okay in it.
Yeah,
But compared to what Val Kilmer brought to that movie,
yeah.
like not even is that a mosquito or?
Oh, it's a fly. Just landed on my hand.
Yeah, compared to what Val Kilmer brought to that movie, brought to that character,
Yeah.
it was just like, I loved it. It's that to me is if you're going to say, hey, name a Val Kilmer movie, that's going to be it for me. Is Doc Holliday.
Yeah, or even just hey, what's a modern Western that you really like in general?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tombstone, it was phenomenal movie. And again, Val, he really stole it that
Yeah,
time.
I agree.
So, all right. So, rest in peace to Val Kilmer. Sad story, but unfortunately, as Gen X, this is going to happen a lot more and more.
Yeah, I mean, others deserving mention, as we see in the chat, you know, Scott from Use and Abuse, he talks about Real Genius, The Doors. Apparently, I saw some stuff on the internet that talked about how his portrayal in The Doors, like there were people in the band that said it was like really spot on.
Oh, no shit.
Heat was another one.
Oh,
one of
yeah.
his big ones.
Yeah, I mean, that's another fantastic movie. His part is a little sort of more
Right.
on the side, but
Yeah.
as a movie as a whole,
it is. Heat's a great movie, but I agree, his part wasn't big enough for me to include it.
Yeah, he was just
to overtake Top Gun for that.
Yeah, but he was actually one of the only bad guys to survive the whole thing.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
So yeah. When did that come out? Fucking
90s.
94.
No, not 94. I want to say 96.
94.
+2. I don't know.
Yeah.
Chad will tell us.
Yep. Bronco Fenton mentions The Saint. I've never seen that movie. I remember seeing the trailers for it when it was coming out, because that was a time when I was going to the movies all the time. So I saw The Saint trailer many, many times. And it even had Elizabeth Shue in it, and I'm like, oh, that could be interesting. And I never got around to watching it.
Is that the one where he's
He's like a Mission Impossible kind of guy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm thinking of a different movie. 1995.
95.
94.
All
so
right,
it was
then.
made in 94.
94.
Okay.
Obviously, right?
Yeah,
If
clearly.
it came out in 95, then it had to be made in 94,
That
right?
would make logical sense.
94.
All right. We lost somebody else this week as well.
We did.
Somebody more closer to Star Wars, and that is the Clive Revel, the original voice of the Emperor in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, the guy that, it's funny as we tie this into the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, and you think about the current Emperor,
Mm-hmm.
whose name is escaping me right now. What,
Ian McDiarmid?
Ian McDiarmid, thank you. It was Ian. Then I was like, McClellan? I'm like, that's not right.
No, that's Gandalf.
Yeah, the internal monologue in me was fucking going nuts. I try not to do what the voices in my head tell me. Anyway, so the mask that he had to wear, like when he was shown as the Emperor, it was like this, it's like something from Planet of the Apes or something. It was like some half monkey mask or whatever. So when they did that imagery of the Emperor, that's what it was. That's why it looked all fucking weird. It's because he had this like weird mask on.
Well, so
in Empire.
it actually wasn't Clive Revel that was in the mask, though. Do you remember who was actually in the mask in Empire?
No, obviously I don't.
So it was an old woman, actually. A very old woman. She looked like the lady that played the Wicked Witch of the West in Wizard of Oz. But yeah, they actually put her in the makeup, while Clive Revel just did the voice.
Well, even regardless of that, so you have Clive Revel, who establishes the voice.
Yeah.
I put that image, right, of what that Emperor is. Now, for Revenge of the Sith, the Emperor has to ultimately look like that, right? So how do we
Yeah.
do that? Now we're going to get the Force lightning back in his face so that he fucking ages like a fucking prune.
Mm.
It's like, God, before I could get laid one more time before I fucking face turned into a boiled testicle.
God, I look like a scrotum.
Damn it, I thought, why was that so wrong in my head? Anyway.
Are you done?
Regardless.
All right.
Rest in peace.
Yes. Clive Revel and Val Kilmer. So, you ready to get into our weeks?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I got a couple of things this week. First, I got new additions to
The sacred Jedi.
It's about fucking time.
I know.
You know what? It's been
The
so long.
sacred
We're going to hit it
Jedi.
again.
Very good. So, the first thing I got was from, you remember Shadows of the Empire, the book that they tried to, make canon and do all this stuff around it. They released the soundtrack and
Yeah.
toys and stuff of that. Well, they did some Black Series figures for it.
Oh wow.
And they did these guys. It was Luke and Leia. Now, of course, Leia in the Bosch outfit is nothing new, but Luke in this Imperial Guard is a new Black Series that came from Shadows of the Empire. It's at one point where Luke had to sneak in to help Leia, I think, and he had to put on that garb. Now, what's funny is I had that exact toy in the old 3 3/4 inch Power of the Force toys.
No
also,
shit.
yeah. So I had that for the longest time.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I had no idea they made toys of that.
yeah.
I have that book at home.
Shadows of the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was decent.
I have
at
the
time.
paperback. In fact, I think Rick might have given it to me because it was in his dad's library of books.
Okay.
I could be lying. I might have picked it up somewhere else, but we're
Yeah.
gonna go with that.
Yeah, but it's not canon anymore. But they've pulled stuff from it,
Sure.
like Caesar's race. They've used them
Mhm.
in the background of some things. So
That's the beauty of having all that stuff. I mean, it's the basket, infinite basket of shit to fucking pull. Hey, we need something. Rummage around and fucking
yeah,
throw it out there.
and I think they've got to be just saving the Old Republic stuff for when they get really desperate and they need like a big hit. That's like that's the golden goose in there that they're just letting it simmer and not.
You wonder what it's going to take
I don't know,
to get that out.
but we might find out at Celebration next month. So.
It's a celebration.
All right, I got one more Black Series.
The sacred Jedi.
This is a 2-pack that I had no idea had come out. The other one I had pre-ordered.
Right.
This one I was just perusing Amazon for Black Series figures, and I saw this. And this is a Mandalorian 2-pack, the Shriek Hawk Trainers. 2 more Mandalorians. The chick looks a lot like Boba Fett with her armor and the coloring and everything.
Yeah.
But,
I like the pistol.
yeah,
It's
so
an interesting variation of the what is that? The VL 65 or
Is it?
something. Look at this blaster.
oh yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, that might be the one, or close to it.
Once again, Battlefront game for the win.
Yep.
Oh, they both have that blaster.
Oh, very nice.
Nice. Yeah, she's got stuff going on there.
Yeah.
That's a good one. These are the things that make it a collection, you know? It's the characters, the not off-brand, but you know, the people that you don't readily recognize and go,
Yeah,
like, oh,
side
wow.
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is very cool. I kind of want to get another one to take these out of the box. But we'll see.
Ronin. What Ronin?
What, Ronin?
Ronin?
They made a Black Series figure out of him?
They did not.
Oh.
Did they?
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't know. Chris Forsyth in the chat mentioned something about Ronin.
Oh.
And I watched that the other day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Because
This is a good one.
I really enjoyed that.
I love the art style
and
on that
bought
one.
the book and the pops
Mm-hmm.
are over there.
Oh, yeah.
Multiple pops. So
It's very nice.
if there is a Black Series figure of said,
All right. Anyway, while he's reading the chat, I also got a new car this week.
a new car.
Oh, it's a Celebration exclusive. Fuck you.
God. This is going to be on the internet.
Yeah, for $100 plus.
Oh my God.
But yeah, no, I bought a new car this week. The lease for my Bolt was running out, and I decided. Well, at first I was leaning towards just buying off the Bolt,
Right.
but the price that they were asking was way too high for a 3-year-old vehicle.
Yeah, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Like everyone's buying cars right now.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah. So because of the tariffs that are coming up, that combined with the fact that I'm almost done with the lease to the Bolt, it still has like another month and a half to go. But I'm like, I better get my new car now before shit starts going up. So I've been eyeballing the Ioniqs for quite a while now. I love the look of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen and I were shopping. We went to the Hyundai dealership. We wanted to do a test drive, and he was showing us one. It was like a silver matte finish. It was very, very cool. And we're looking at it, we're like, okay, this is good. This is good. He's like, oh, I got another red one in the back if you want to see it. I'm like, I'm sure. I'm typically not a red car kind of guy. But he pulled it up, and as soon as he pulled it up, I'm like, I have to own this because it's in red and black.
Yeah.
In the Sith colors. So this is going to be my Sith mobile, so to speak.
Yeah, and what's really funny is when I pulled up to the house today, I looked over and I'm like, oh, look, it's the Sith mobile. Like you recognize it for what it is right away.
I've already bought like Sith Empire and Galactic Empire decals that I'm going to put in the back window. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very excited. And this thing has some kick to it too. It's got a sport mode where, you can fucking like really accelerate. And when you jam it in sports mode, holy fuck, dude. It's like,
so the Bolt didn't have that?
No, that was more of a conservative style vehicle.
Fucking bow tie pussy.
Where this one can probably stand up to a Tesla in a side-by-side race.
Nice.
So, oh, there he is.
Look at that. And it's in black and white too. The red lightsaber. Fuck me running.
And it comes with his droid too.
God damn it, Reggie Ray.
Yeah. So anyway, I got the car. I'm excited, happy. And then I did my taxes. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
But because of last year, because I had to pay like $4,000 last year.
Yeah.
After that, I raised manually in my paychecks how much money they pull out for taxes. So I just said, take extra. Took all my dependents down to zero, just trying to do whatever I can to get them take what they need so I don't have to pay a shitload of money at the end of the year.
Right.
And I also upped my my contribution to my 401k. So
that's the big one.
More untaxed money there. And yeah, I only had to pay $700 this time.
Nice.
Yeah. I want to get it to where I don't have to pay shit. But
yeah, it would be nice. I mean, we're paying a lot, like almost $4,000 this year.
Yeah.
But it's taxes, man. I
mean, I don't mind paying taxes.
Exactly. It's not a political statement.
No.
But I
get it. We have things that are provided to us
right.
by local and federal governments.
I think this is that we, having spent half of our lives, as servants of the state,
mm-hmm.
I think we understand that, hey, if you want us to defend this nation, we need things. We need budget items. We need this and that. So that's going to necessitate taxes.
Yeah.
So when it comes time for that, I think the biggest thing for me is making sure that we're not missing something that is obvious. And that's why we take our, we go to a person for our taxes.
Yeah.
But just the idea of paying taxes, we have a fiscal responsibility to pay.
What we
taxes.
all have to do, and it's how they fund things. It's how it's why we have policemen that will come if somebody starts shooting up our house.
Right.
It's why we have firemen who will come if our house catches on fire. It's why, we have state roads and interstates and just everything that governments provide to us. For the price that we pay, it's actually not terrible.
I'll tell you what, man. And Wally Frogmore can probably speak to this, who just popped into the chat, which is really funny. I did not see he was in the chat until I just said his name. So I spoke him into existence.
Wow.
Are the Australians that are in our flying squadron, they talk about their taxes are unreal.
Really?
How much they pay in taxes. Yeah.
Damn.
It is much higher than what we pay.
Wow.
like significantly higher.
Do they have full health care and all that
They
stuff?
have universal health care there.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, it's like when he said the percentage, I was like, wow, that's significant.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, I
Huh.
was taken aback.
Damn.
Yeah. So those things got to get paid for. So
Yep. But that's all. It was a pretty exciting week for me overall. So not too bad. Less boring than it has been recently.
oh yeah, days are getting longer.
Yeah,
You know, things can happen more in the daylight.
yeah, but temperatures decided to go
These
away.
I swear it's the weather. That's trying to fold me in half.
Probably. But speaking of which, what's been going on with you?
So I remember was talking about last week the Lego X-wing that I made. That I said it was like the most realistic one.
Yes.
All right, I brought it.
Ooh. Oh, damn. I don't know why you hand these to me because it never goes well.
So,
Oh, that's beautiful. Let's show to people.
like I said, I really like the intakes on it. I like how the cockpit is situated.
You said cock.
Yeah, it's just it looks much more like a model, and I didn't have an extra R2 to throw in there today.
Yeah.
But the mechanism for actually like deploying the S foils,
Into attack position?
yeah, it's just this lever.
Yeah.
And then on the bottom, you kind of push this in and it releases. So, like I said, of all of the X-Wing builds, and I have like half a dozen of them,
Mm-hmm.
this is not probably, it's by far my favorite one. So,
You know, comparing that to what the whatever their X-wings were in Revenge of the Sith. I know they weren't called X-wings; they were called something else. But their X-wing equivalents that they were flying, that they locked S-foils in attack position.
mm-hmm.
Those things are butt ugly
Yeah, they're
compared to this X-wing.
they're god awful.
Yeah.
I have mini version of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not pleasant.
No. Because I watched this movie a couple of times recently, and I
Yeah.
was paying attention to that kind of stuff.
Look at this. Look, I love the action and how this was built. It's just whoop. It's nice and simple.
Yeah.
And I release. So really enjoyed this build. This is the 2015, I think,
Okay.
was the year this one. So the other one, I talked to you about this guy.
Yeah.
So be like, I don't know where you want to put your hands. Just
I don't know either. I don't want to do anything wrong.
it's loaded too. So
Look at that.
yeah, so the shuttle Titanium, and I have a Luke that Jason so graciously gave me with some figures last week.
Yeah, we didn't do that on the show.
So I have Luke sitting in the cockpit, right? This is fresh after his dad dying on the ramp of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool. Get these folded down. I just dropped it. So you get it folded down.
God, that looks great.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are Legos. And what I really like about it, this was one I got this off of eBay for it was really cheap. It was like $30 cheap. But it was missing quite a few parts. And the guy that I bought it off of, he found like some of the parts that were missing and he just mailed them to me.
Oh, no
Like,
shit.
yeah, so it was really cool. And it was some of the bigger parts that I would have had a tough time sourcing. But these side doors kind of open so you can see inside the
Oh, sweet.
inside the cabin. And then I don't know if the camera can see it. But I got a I got a dead Anakin Skywalker laying across the chair in there.
In his Vader costume?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because Luke would have had to put him in there, right? Like he brought the body home.
Yeah, to
So-
burn it, home to Endor.
Yeah. So, yeah. So it had to, he would have had to cargo strap him into into some seats.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really enjoy getting the partial sets because they're significantly cheaper, and most of the time they don't come with the minifigures because minifigures are where the money is.
Yeah.
So, and I don't care. I'm in it for the build, and I'm going to figure out how to, portray this in such a way to tell the story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because you even get the ramp.
Yeah, and the fact that you're doing it as Luke after the Death Star explosion
The ramp
is good. Because normally I think most people would associate it with Han and Leia being on the bridge, them heading down to the surface of Endor. But I'm just watching Dave peel pieces off now.
I'm not a fan of the configuration of the landing gear. I'm not gonna lie. I like the mechanics of it because it's got Technic pieces, and it's all one motion,
Yeah.
right? So I like that bit, but the foot pads, it's just not. It's not very secure. I should really just.
Yeah, just do another like a flat brick over them on the bottom.
Yeah, because there was some improvements I made on some of the weapons because the barrels of the guns were falling off because it didn't have. It just wasn't very stable, so I fixed some of that. But yeah. And
yeah, Wally was asking in the chat if you search for incomplete Lego sets specifically.
Yeah, that's my eBay search that I get an email for every morning is incomplete Lego.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'll sit on the shitter in the morning and scroll through and see what comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in a little bit of a break from it right now. I'm going to hand this to you while I say something else. So I've had this for a minute. Vickers actually put this together for when we were going to do our remote.
Can I show the people?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like it's like a microphone thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's got the Sidebar Cantina, and then it's got I'm 37.
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
So, it should be channel 37.
Yeah.
And it actually has a microphone cover too. So, yeah, we were going to do a remote for some bit and ended up not doing it, but he threw that together. So, thank you, Helmet Fire, for that. And yes, it took me this long to finally get it into the fucking studio. So, yeah. Speaking of Lego, so Kathy, because the Lego was kind of where my Lego building was happening in my office area of the family room was starting to get a little congested. She recommended that in one of the guest rooms, maybe I should take over that area specifically for Lego. So some of the weekend I spent like moving some stuff around. I still got that fucking. There's one room that has a bunch of shit in it that I put in there because we had to clean out the attic crawl space for the roof leak. I'm still getting through that shit, but I have the corner cleaned out now, so I have like a much larger area for doing builds.
Yeah.
So I have a legit Lego workshop area.
That's great.
So yeah, I like, I'm punching above my fucking weight class with my wife as it is. So her giving me this opportunity is really cool. And for her, she doesn't have to look at all of the clutter
Right.
of the Lego stuff. But this is the best therapy that I have
Mhm.
is even just sorting the Lego. I mean, we've talked about it before, and you wouldn't believe how many people that like celebrities and whatnot I find that this is the same outlet
Oh, really?
is Lego. Oh yeah, dude.
Huh.
It's you find athletes, politicians, like you get people that are like, oh no, yeah, like adults that are into the Lego, and this is how either building or sorting or doing whatever with Lego, and that's kind of how they exercise their brains, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, this is why it still stays so expensive, because we continue to roll the market over, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah, I always had this theory that, well, Lego prices are bound to crash because they just keep making more and more, and no, they never never do.
Nope. And I found a ball of like older Lego, not an intentional ball, but like enough Lego to make kind of a ball.
Yeah.
And it's like circa 1970s Lego.
damn.
Like you can tell, right? You can tell from the material and the way that the plastic is colored.
Yeah.
Because at one point it was just like your options were red and white, red and white.
Yeah.
And then ultimately when they got into the space series, then you start getting the grays and some other stuff. But that Lego works with brand new Lego,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what makes it so good. Like that form factor is solid across generations.
Yeah.
So if you've got Lego that's decades old, you can throw it together with some that's brand new,
Mhm.
and it'll still work. To build what you want. So it's cool like that. So yeah, that's more Lego projecting. I need like I need to do like video stuff with putting the Lego together.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I'm lazy. I don't want to do that because when I'm doing Lego, I'm just doing Lego because I want to, not because I'm trying to make content.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like then it would turn into work.
Oh, what you should do, like one thing you could do is just prop up a camera, right? And, have it watch you as you're building, and then just do like a fast forward kind of video where it just shows you slowly. And you're,
Yeah, I did that with a couple, but it was still work because you still had to like kind of put it together and then
Yeah.
get it out. There may be some that are like, okay, this is going to be really cool when it's finished, and then I'm going to document building it. But just regular shit, and I don't know, like buy and build it yourself. don't watch people. Don't watch people build that shit. Anyway, the last thing for the week that I can remember is I'm pretty sure we caught a baseball game.
That's right. Yeah, we went to the Phillies game on Wednesday night.
It was Wednesday night.
Yeah.
It was the night opener. Like, so the Phillies had their home opener on Monday.
Yep.
When it was before we even did the show, and then they had their nighttime opener on that Wednesday.
Right.
And unfortunately, the weather was kind of like, ugh. And Kathy didn't like. She was not feeling well, and had homework to do.
Mm-hmm.
So she wasn't really interested in going. So Jason had said before, like, hey, if you need somebody to go, like, call me first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right,
As I did.
I'm going to ask Jason first.
Yep.
And Jason was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Jason and I went, and so here's what's funny about this story. I legitimately didn't know where the seats were.
Oh.
So there's I mean, I know the stadium. right? I've sat pretty much everywhere, but I have never sat in the rooftop seating. It's out in right field, and it's just an area. They got like some bleachers, and it's like one of the sponsors for the Phillies is CP Rankin. It's a roofing company, a local one. So, and that CP Rankin is like the big thing because it's a rooftop air quote, seating.
Sure.
So when I bought the tickets, I don't remember buying the tickets. A, B, because it said CP Rankin Club, I assumed that it was the rooftop seats.
Okay.
And before we left for the game, I was desperately trying to figure out where these seats were. Like I was on the phone, I'm like scrolling in and like trying to find a fucking area. Like, God damn it, I don't know where these fucking seats are. Until probably when I got in the car to head towards your house to pick you up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally just straight Googled CP Rankin Club and then put the seat numbers in.
Yeah.
And then it said, oh, it's this area behind home plate. And I'm like, okay. Shit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to have an experience.
Yeah.
So I didn't say anything. I just was like, all right, we're going to sit in a new place.
Mm-hmm.
And as it turns out, we're sitting in a section that used to be called the Diamond Club.
Okay.
And now it's the CP Ranking Club because, sponsorships.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like I've sat in a Diamond Club, but like over in a different area of it, not right behind home plate. I mean, we were behind home plate, like 12 rows behind home plate. Yeah, 12. Yeah, because we were in the 12th row behind home plate.
Yeah, we could see it clear as day. Like if I had, tried to harass the batters, they would have probably heard me.
And you probably would have harassed them more if the Colorado fan wasn't.
Yeah, so I'm all ready to start talking shit. Try to be a real Philly fan, and of course, a fucking Colorado guy was sitting right beside us.
Real nice older gentleman.
Yeah, nothing wrong with him.
Just like the kind of person who would have been like, he probably would have been fine with it, some good-natured ribbing.
Sure.
But you just were like, I don't want this guy feeling bad.
Yeah, no. So I didn't make too much noise.
Yeah, it wasn't subject, and it could very easily have been a player, like because we were in an area where the players' families sit.
Mm.
So if they're not up in a suite, like they still are responsible for like the seating. They don't just get handed tickets. I guess they still have to pay for seats for family members up to a certain point. So, not everybody can afford the suites. So he could have been like his nephew could have been playing or whatever.
Yeah.
So even the Philly in me was just like, he's not. This isn't the Mets.
Right.
If this was a Mets fan, fuck that guy. That I don't give a shit. He could have had oxygen hanging off his face, like this is the last, not only the last event that he's ever going to go to, it's probably the last night that he's going to live on this earth, and I'd still fucking get in his shit. Like, yeah, fuck the Mets.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck your oxygen. Fuck the Mets.
Speaking of which, they're coming back in June.
The Rockies?
No, the Mets.
Oh.
Yeah, 3 games in June. In Philly.
Nice. Yeah, we'll get. The weather was kind of crappy.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately we didn't get to sit there and get the full experience. If it had been the night before, we would have been sitting there in 60-degree temperatures.
I know. Yeah, it just sucked because it was a little chilly when we got there.
Right.
But then the rain started, and it rained for a little while, and then the temperatures just plummeted.
Yep.
And it became miserable.
So the temperatures plummeted, and Jason was like, he had to get the ice cream in the helmet,
Oh, hell yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the last game we went to, he didn't get it. I don't know if it was because we were like on our way out or whatever,
Yeah.
but he didn't get it. So this time is like, yeah, no fucking way. I'm not getting it. And I'm like, yeah, dude, get your fucking ice cream. Enjoy, treat yourself.
Yeah.
So he goes in there, gets his ice cream, and we're standing outside. We're in an area where we're not getting rained on necessarily.
Mhm.
Like it slowed down to a point where like, but it was cold. It was cold.
Yeah.
So we're standing there kind of watching the game, and like you could hear him shivering. Like he was finishing it up, right? He ate the whole fucking thing, but he was like, yeah, like he was shivering. Oh, dude, it was fucking great.
Yeah.
But yeah, he ate the whole fucking thing. You got to have the helmet ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
I know if I had eaten something like that at that point, if we got stuck in traffic, I probably would crap my pants. I don't know that I could. I don't know that I could do that custard and then make it all the way to the house.
Do you have some lactose intolerance?
Yeah, it's yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. And there's sometimes where I can get away with it, but like for whatever reason, since my 30s, I'm 10 out of 10, almost shitting myself if I have ice cream at the stadiums.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just the brand. Like if I go to the creamery at Penn State,
Mm-hmm.
which is like almost out of the teat fresh ice cream,
Yeah.
but it's hard ice cream. It's not custard. I'm fine. Like I can eat a bowl of that, and I don't even get the fucking the grumblies afterwards. But if I buy something out of the freezer at the grocery store, forget it. Yeah, it's a shame because I love ice cream. Oh my god,
Yeah.
ice cream is one of those forbidden, glorious things because ice cream is gluten free. I mean, I could be eating the shit out of it,
Oh.
but my body would be like, ha ha, and it fucking immediately, you wanted to eat that so you could immediately pass it through your body. I got you, fam.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I thought it was a blast. I had a good time. It just sucked that we couldn't stay for the whole game because the weather was just too cold and everything. But...
Well, and we left at a spot too where the Phillies had a lead.
yeah, they had a 2-run lead, I think, at that point.
Yeah, and the Rockies were going through some bullshit where it's like, okay, we're gonna have this guy pitch around this guy because we need to get somebody warmed up, and then they send a pitching coach out. And he goes out there for his 30 seconds. The umpire walks out. They come back. And then instead of throwing a pitch, then a manager comes out and they do a pitching change. Now that's 2 more minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like during all that time, Jason and I got into the car and were able to fucking get onto the bridge and home. No traffic.
Yep.
And
we could listen to the game.
And you listen to the game. And get the heated seats on and unfreeze ourselves.
Yes.
So more baseball games to come.
Yeah, I was looking at the Phillies home games. They got the Angels coming to town in July, which I wouldn't mind going to one of those games.
Yeah. We'll make it happen.
The Mets, I'd love to go to a Mets game just so we could, talk some shit and boo the hell out of them.
Yeah, that's Bronco Fett and his obligatory love of anything blue and orange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, fuck the Mets. I can't. I can't do it.
Them
Them and the Yankees. Ugh.
All right, so I got a lot of notes on Revenge of the Sith. So
we have a lot. We have a lot to get through.
So we should move on.
Yes, and I piddled before we fucking started for that very reason.
Yep. So let's get into it.
So we should get into it.
All right, Revenge of the Sith next month turns 20 years old. 20 years since this movie came out in theaters. 20.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it's been that long.
I can't either.
Yeah.
I can't. So again, here's the part of the show where we talk about how old we are.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of you can feel this too. So in the squadron, I was talking about a trip that I was on, in 2000. It was the year 2000.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of F1 fans, like F1 racing fans,
Mhm.
which is super popular. I don't have the bandwidth to get into it.
Yeah.
I'd be fascinated by it because like I would appreciate the machine, but I can't. I just don't have the bandwidth for it. So, but they're talking about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was in Bahrain once with when they were like in town, and things happened, and the kid went into his phone. Oh yeah, I remember when it happened. It was like 2012, right? I'm like, no, that was in 2000. And he's like, oh. I was like, why? How old were you when that happened? It's like October of 2000. Like how old were you? He's like, how old do you think I was? Like, I don't know, 3, 4 years old.
Mhm.
Like, no. Like a fetus? You're like, no, I was born. Like, okay. He was born in October of 1999. Like he's born the same, like basically same time frame as Kate.
Yeah.
And so he was a year old when I was there for that.
Right.
1 year old. And he's in a fucking evaluator boom operator in my office.
Which is funny because I had just become a boom operator when this came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had just crossed over the year before, 2024. In October of 2004, I was in fucking Fairchild for the survival training. So that's where I was October of the year before.
It's just I saw a meme and it's 100% accurate. Is getting old is just constantly running into things that remind you of how old you are.
Yep.
And I legitimately find that to be true.
Oh yeah.
Like I can't wrap my brain around the fact that anything that happens in, like, if you tell me 2005 and then my brain goes, that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
I can't convince my brain that wasn't 2 decades ago.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But it
tough.
was.
Mm-hmm.
It was. Like, I was in the unit by then. Like, for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I was a veteran by then. I was, like, fully qualified evaluator. How you doing? Like,
yeah. So yeah, we were
I was a tech sergeant by then.
yeah. So we were already into our
Well into our
into-
careers.
yeah. So it's crazy, and I remember being super hyped for this. I remember the trailers that were that they had shown were looking pretty fucking good, and I was just waiting and waiting to. But at the same time, I was a little sad too, because for the longest time, this was intended to be the last movie that George did.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't going to get any more after that. So
Yeah.
I knew that was coming, and I was a little sad about it. But
Yeah.
thankfully, we had the buyout and everything. So
Yeah. And that was like the excitement of episode 1. You know, it's very, very similar to the excitement that we had for Force Awakens, right?
yeah, it was the first Star Wars movie in a long time.
Yeah. And then, but I didn't have the same for episode 3. I don't know if it's because my life was so busy in that time,
Mhm.
like because of, the ops tempo and everything else. Like, I didn't have time to like think about the finality of the series. Like, Star Wars was obviously a thing for me, but it wasn't like as much of a thing.
Yeah,
So I didn't have the time to spend with it to process the finality of it.
right.
The kids had their shows, like they had stuff, they had their toys, and it didn't really hit me like Rise of Skywalker. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like for me, I still am like, I watched Rise of Skywalker. Like I forced myself to do it,
Mhm.
and I for reasons I still get that, like, shit, it should be the last one, but it's probably not going to be.
right.
So I guess I should feel better about it. But
We'll see.
yeah, this is the last one. And I honestly, you have it in the notes, like, where were we 20 years ago? And I don't know. Where in the world was Dave in the unit in May of 2005?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I remember I saw it here in Jersey on opening night. Because like I said, I had just become a boom operator, but I wasn't full time. I was just a traditional guardsman at that point. So I was going to school at the time. So I was in college doing the boom operator thing. And yeah, I was not going to not see it on opening night. So
I might have saw it in not in Greenville. What's that other town that we would stay in?
Rockwall.
Rockwall.
Yeah.
I might have saw it in Rockwall.
Okay.
Because I saw episode 1. I forget what episode 1. I know I saw episode 2 initially in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
I was out there for a school.
Yeah.
It was radios. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I was in we were staying in Rockwall for something with the jet.
Okay.
And that's where I saw it. You know that movie theater?
It's been a while.
We'd stay at one of the hotels that was like right on
The water there.
I-10, and then we could Frogger across the street to get to that, like, so that the movie theater was there before that big thing was down there, that big waterfront area.
Oh, okay.
Because that's fairly new.
Oh, I didn't realize.
In the early 2000s, like, that wasn't built up like it is now.
We're talking about Rockwall, Texas,
Yes.
outside of Dallas.
Yes. Yeah, it's an area of Texas that we are extremely familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm almost positive I saw it there.
Okay.
Might not have been the first time I saw it, but I definitely saw it there.
All right. So first things first, I have some overall thoughts after watching this one.
Yeah, spoiler free.
No. No, if for some reason, if somebody is watching this and they have not seen Revenge of the Sith, I don't know what to say. Like,
Don't start with this movie.
no, but, well,
Actually,
what's his name? Sam Witwer had the perfect viewing order. Like, I'm down with his order now.
okay,
How to watch it?
I'm intrigued. What was that?
It's you start them off with Clone Wars because we're talking little kids here,
Right.
right? You start them off with Clone Wars, and then you would go right into episode 4. You know, you show them episodes 4 and 5 because they've heard or they know of this Anakin guy and they know Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but now all they're hearing is that Anakin was killed by this guy Darth Vader, and you know, they're like, "Fuck this guy, man!" And you know, he killed our hero Anakin. And then you get the Empire when he's like, "Oh, I am your father," and then that's when you stop, and then start them with episode 1, and then they can see how everything changes for Anakin, how everything builds with him from episode 1 to episode 3.
So it turns into the tragic backstory at that point.
Yeah. So he reveals the father. Now we're going to go back and we're going to see everything leading up to that. And then boom, finish with Return of the Jedi and the redemption.
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant myself. So
I can tell you that I watched Revenge of the Sith 3 times over since Friday, and on Saturday I watched it and then immediately followed it up with Return of the Jedi.
yeah.
I felt like that's where I wanted to go. Like, I wanted to see Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to see Luke in the black robes after seeing Anakin in black, and transition that right into, you know, Luke in the black robes.
Yeah.
And like that.
He's also kind of on the edge.
Yeah, that juxtaposition to where he is at that point. Yeah, it was a good way to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for something that I've seen so many times.
Right.
It's always. I texted you, I think on Saturday, just random text to Jason and just like, I fucking love these movies.
Yep.
And this just reinforces, like watching this, that's not the Machete Order, not what Whitworth.
No. The Machete Order is something a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I like his the best.
Yeah, when I texted Jason, I was just like, it was just reinforcement of like, God damn it, the hate for the prequels, like how much that is like completely receded.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I'm 100% the same. Like after watching it this last time, I'm like, fuck. I gotta apologize to George Lucas for all the shit I gave for the prequels.
Yeah, we were talking
before.
a lot of shit for a while.
Yeah, because now, like, if we reordered the movies right now, like our favorites, this one would be right up there, competing for one of the top 2 or 3 spots.
Absolutely,
for me, because it was just so well done. Like, say what you want about Lucas's directing of actors and some of his cheesy dialogue. He laid out a fucking phenomenal 3-movie story.
Yeah. You have a lot of notes, so let's start from the beginning, and then we're gonna hit some of these high notes, I think.
Okay.
Speaking of notes,
yeah, nice.
Look at this, like this motherfucker right here. This is some of his best shit.
Yeah, no, John Williams was on point for all of this movie.
Yeah,
the whole soundtrack was just fucking gold.
Goosebumps. I got goosebumps just now.
And the notes that I take,
it's not because I was rubbing my nipples either.
We're not doing this like we would do before, where we're kind of like running down the plot of the movie and everything, though it does go in chronological order. It's more just things I observed this time around, or things I wanted to talk about this time around.
Okay. That
maybe we hadn't talked about before. And starting off, I fucking love this first space battle.
Oh God. I have above my desk, I have the 2 starships, or 2 fighters.
Yeah, that Anakin and Obi-Wan.
And Obi-Wan. I have them in formation,
mm-hmm.
like they're just getting ready to do that split S to come down over the Venator to, into that fight scene.
Yeah.
So, like, episode 2. Which we're not talking about, but episode 2, one of the things I really, really liked about it was the giant fight sequences. Like, you had this idea of how big this war was right from the fucking beginning. Like, the Clone Wars was about filling your fucking screen with what these battles were.
Yeah.
And to start this movie, it wasn't like a slow pan. It wasn't anything else. You had, two fighters moving into just an absolute fucking melee.
Yeah.
Above Coruscant. And yeah, I've rewound it like several times. Like, it was just spectacular.
Yeah. And this time around, I was really trying to pay attention to what was going on in the background, because again, you've got a screen full of like all these big cruisers on both sides, and they're just fucking firing at each other. And you got like fighters flying around everywhere. And I was trying to pay more attention to that, because I'd love to see, some more up closes of these fucking massive ships just fucking dueling it out.
Well, and that's like when we get a little bit later, when this situation with why they're going into the atmosphere, right? They're sinking, basically.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term. The broadside, like it's old school ship battle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had 2 ships that are pulling up next to each other and just giving them what's called a broadside. You're just pulling alongside and firing all the guns on that side into your enemy and tearing into it, and hopefully you do more damage than they did to you, and you fucking be able to fight on.
Mm-hmm. Little detail that I noticed this time around. So, when they were both flying from the missiles, they shot the 4 like homing missiles at him.
Yeah.
And Anakin was able to, he did his fucking barrel rolls, and he caused the 2 to like smash together.
Yeah.
As opposed to the ones that went to Obi-Wan and released the buzz droids.
Mm-hmm.
When they smash together for Anakin's, you can see the little buzz droids. Like, like drift off
Nice.
because like it exploded behind him. So and they were traveling this way and they exploded and then
So
you
saw
could see
a little cloud.
Yeah, a little cloud of buzz droids.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great detail. I'll have to look for that.
Yep. And from the beginning, we lose R4. Now,
Yeah.
he's not a pivotal character. He's no R2D2, but we know of R4. He's been, in our Star Wars lives for. Oh yeah, Dave's ship setup.
Yeah, this is what's above my desk.
Yeah, very cool. But this is a known character that dies in the opening scene of this movie.
Yep.
Gets his head fucking ripped off.
Yep. So, like, and Obi-Wan has, as much as Obi-Wan like doesn't really get along with the droids all that well. Like he seemed to have a genuine like, man.
Right, because it wasn't like a no, it was
Right.
like a shit.
God. All right. So no droid.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Now I'm completely fucked.
Yeah.
Flying's for droids is the comment before that.
But droids don't have the Force, man. They can't react the way a Jedi could.
Right. Don't forget, we have that. I hope we have that talking point at the end. The Mace Windu talking point.
We'll get there.
Okay.
After they land in the hangar, I love the
Land.
right crash, land, glide,
Right.
whatever. Skidded to a stop. When Obi-Wan throws the fucking mic or the comm to R2 and says, "Just stay out of the way, just listen for us to call you." And R2 made one of those like "fuck you" kind of noises.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good content creators out there that are doing R2 speaks type things.
Right, dubbing an actual voice into his scenes.
Yeah, and honestly, if you listen to the beeps, you can overlay some real like what the fuck type things in there. Like,
hey, go fuck yourself.
Like yeah, more definitely Return of the Jedi, but in this one too, you get some R2 moments where he's like, "Oh yeah, R2's definitely going, what the actual fuck?"
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things I always hated about the prequels before when I was a hater was the cheesy dialogue, some of the dumb jokes. But I actually got a little chuckle out of when they're going up and down the elevator and Anakin he jumps and he's like hanging off the side. And then the droids open the door and they're like, "Hands up, Jedi." I'm like,
right.
All right, that was kind of corny, but a little humorous.
So this actually brings up a point that I wanted to talk about. In what we see with the battle droids, you have the personality of the battle droids has now turned into like a thing,
right?
We're strictly talking about the movies here, because I know I'm sure somebody will be like, "Well, if you've Clone Wars," like no, strictly talking for the movies. Because it was written to give you this progression of here's the droids, these battle droids, the voice of the battle droid, the impression of their abilities and everything else. As it gets into this movie, it's lessened.
Okay.
And you can see it, and I think it's meant to be obvious like that. Like you're almost meant to be disarmed by it.
Mm-hmm.
Like George is writing for you to be like, yeah, either they're writing it as an army that knows it's winning, or that is deliberately programmed to start, hey, the war's almost over. Palpatine says it to Grievous.
Yeah.
After, fast forwarding, but the war, he knows the war's coming to an end because it's reaching this pinnacle that Palpatine has been putting together.
Yeah.
So I think that the droids are basically on a timer, so that like we don't want you to win all-out war.
Right.
Like we want to keep things fairly even and balanced.
Right, because that was all part of Palpatine's plan.
Yeah, because I mean, there's times when clones are getting annihilated, absolutely fucking annihilated, and then there's times when like you see in the battle sequences on Geonosis that you fucking clones are just doing some Rambo shit, fucking jumping up and they're like firing machine guns into the top of clones that don't seem like they're able to do anything.
Yeah.
And I think it's a deliberate. I got the impression that George is trying to give us that like this is a deliberate thing. Like this is all part of the it's part of that peak of the timeline that George is giving us.
And it's funny you bring that up because right after this, my next note was let's talk about the costs of building droids. Because this was sparked by the scene with R2 when the super battle droids, came up and grabbed him and he fucking squirts the oil, his jizz all over him and then lights it on fire. And I'm like, these things are made mostly of metal. How is a fire going to kill them? And then I'm like, well, think about it. How big is the operation that's like mass producing these fucking droids? It's got to be huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you have something that big, it's going to be expensive. So I would imagine that the Trade Federation probably cut a lot of corners. They probably, they skimped out in some features so that they could mass produce these at a reasonable cost.
Yeah, the wires are insulated with fucking, cotton as opposed to, or paper as opposed to something fireproof.
Right. So I'm just sitting here thinking like, oh, that's probably why, because these things fucking suck because they're just mass produced in these huge quantities just to, throw them at the fucking clones.
Yeah, it's just cannon fodder.
Yeah.
So it's about how many you can produce. It's not about the quality of it.
Right, which is why, the battle droids are so incompetent. The Jedi just cut through them like they're nothing. And even these fucking super battle droids get die from fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was interesting. And I'm like, yeah, it was probably like a lowest bidder contract kind of thing.
Yeah. And what I took away from that was like R2 is just a fucking savage. Just
well,
like
that too, yeah.
What's R2 thinking? He's 2 steps ahead of this. He's like, all right, these fuckers, I'm gonna release some lubrication that I know I can light on fire with my fucking jets.
Uh-huh.
And they're gonna get caught up in this fire, and I'm gonna just fucking float away.
Yeah.
Like, and not even pay attention. Like, and they're just gonna go.
Yeah. Well, he's just chilling, just flying away.
I'm gonna go. I gotta go over here and fucking work this elevator for these dumbasses.
So the next thing in my notes was when we get to the Dooku fight.
Okay.
And this is something that's bothered me since the day this movie came out. The stupid effects when Dooku fucking flings Obi-Wan and he hits that railing or whatever, and then he drops the platform down onto him. The fucking effects for the Obi-Wan, like the ragdoll that they used for that, it just looks terrible, especially when it comes down and hits him and then drags the body a little bit.
Yeah.
You could just so tell that was so fake. And I'm like, Disney, we need a special edition. This is one area where I will forgive a special edition if you go and fix that fucking effect. Because very few things take me out of Star Wars movies, but that's one of them that really takes me out of it. Every time I see that, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you for that. I mean, there's how did I mitigate that? Because those type of things do tend to like get in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
But I start to mitigate it as I'm watching the movie. And I think it's the throwing and kicking that happens, and it's CGI.
Yeah.
Right? It's very fluid. It's overly fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Like humans, when they fall, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. It's not a neatly curved fucking thing that hits and then comes down.
Yeah.
And maybe CGI it wasn't to that level. Like, hey, this fucking 3.5 second sequence cost $100,000. If we spend $300,000, then it would look a lot more realistic. All right,
Right.
we're not doing that. We're
Yeah.
just gonna go with
The $100,000
yeah,
version.
we're gonna because that's enough. It's 3.5 seconds. People get over it.
Well, I have not gotten over it.
Yes.
After 20 years, I have still not gotten over that effect. But tell me this. This battle where they were taking on Dooku was great, I thought. And, especially once Obi-Wan got knocked out of the picture, I almost feel like Anakin was better off without Obi-Wan there. I feel like Obi-Wan was kind of like holding back what he could have been doing to Dooku because there was the both of them there. And then once he got out of the picture, Anakin just went fucking ape shit on Dooku. Like, as soon as it was one-on-one, it was all Anakin, and he just fucking ripped the shit out of Dooku and then eventually disarmed him. And
Well, I think my takeaway was that Anakin with Obi-Wan was not allowing himself to like use his emotion in the battle.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, okay, my master's here. I have to be
Got to pull it back.
right. I can't want this to happen. I can't want to make this person suffer, and I can't want to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I want to.
Yeah.
But if Obi-Wan's here and I just jump in there like that, then I have to be the Padawan here.
Right. Which then it turns to the other side of the coin when, Anakin's got the upper hand. He's got him down and he's got Palpatine whispering in his
Right.
ear.
Do
Kill him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kill him. Kill him now.
I
Meanwhile,
shouldn't.
Dooku's like, really?
Well, and I love
Is this how it goes?
when Palpatine said that to him, I love the way he looks at Dooku too.
Uh-huh.
Kill him now, and he just looks at him,
Right.
and like Dooku's looking at him like, "Fuck."
Like, shit.
That's basically Palpatine telling him, "You fucked up."
Yeah, I didn't see this coming.
Yeah,
And that's the thing, like Palpatine was the puppeteer of so many things, and I think even Dooku, all the way up until that moment, didn't realize that he was being manipulated too.
right.
Right? He probably thought that he was in control of what he was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and the decisions that he made were his own until that moment,
Right.
and then it was too late.
Yeah.
Right? He could have backed out and done whatever, but nope, he didn't.
Yep.
He thought she's like, I'm doing what I believe is right. The conversation with Obi-Wan in episode 2.
Yeah.
He might have even believed it for half a second, but nope. Palpatine knew he was going to be a fucking headless horseman here at some point
Yeah.
with
And
his younger, more powerful fucking apprentice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was another great scene, and I really felt like once Obi-Wan was out of the picture, Anakin was just he was on top of it.
And there was moments too, like in that fight sequence, because this episode of Star Wars is when we get the absolute best swordplay
Yeah.
in this. And Christopher Lee, I think he's doing some of it, but not all. I think some of it was just probably a little too intense for his age.
Yeah.
And so you see glimpses of a stunt guy, but he was a swordsman. Like he knew how to handle it. So I'm sure in some scenes he's probably doing some of it.
Yeah.
But they're going so fast when they're doing it. And you hear all the things about how George had to slow down Hayden and what's his nuts? Ewan McGregor.
Oh, yeah, for the final fight?
Yeah, for those sequences. And what we see is the slowed down product, and it's still fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculously fast. So I liked seeing him coming up to Dooku as almost an equal.
Sure.
In that battle. But it was after Dooku called him out.
Oh, said the anger. You have
Right.
anger. You have hatred.
It was almost like it was a key that unlocked, like, oh yeah, I have this reserve that I can tap into, and that'll make me win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if I use that to complete the mission, then that's what's important,
Right.
and that's how he justifies it. So
So I can get home to my wife.
right,
Get down to business.
that's right, because he doesn't know yet that he already got down to business and knocked that broad up.
Mm-hmm. So you're in this war, right?
Mhm.
There's got to be somebody commanding the Republic forces, right? There's got to be some dude in charge, probably the voice guy who always talks like this.
Yeah, the guy. I was thinking about reading a crawl like that guy.
Yeah. So you know that your two of your best Jedi are on that ship right now, trying to get the Chancellor out.
Mm-hmm.
So the Chancellor.
But do you know that?
I would imagine. Well, they had to have known that he was on Dooku's ship, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, because for me, if
There's a secret mission in uncharted space. Let's go.
yeah, because if I thought that was the case, if Anakin and Obi-Wan and the Chancellor were all on that ship, I wouldn't be attacking it as hard to get to that point where they knock it out of orbit.
I don't think they knew. They wouldn't have broadsided it like you said.
Yeah.
I think the Jedi had the intel,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they were specifically going to do that. I think this was an op that they had the clone squadron that was running interference, right? When we get that glimpse of Anakin's dedication to his troops and why his troops followed him so religiously, because
wanting to go back and help them.
yeah, he's like, I need to go help them, and Obi-Wan's like, no, they're doing their job so we can do ours.
Yeah.
Right. Their mission was, hey, you go distract them, so that we can slip through and get to this point.
Yep.
So I think it was a special op, and otherwise, yeah, you don't fucking run a broadside on a ship that you know that you're actively trying, that you have an op running in.
Let's blow this motherfucker to the ground.
That's right. Hit him with both barrels. How about fucking, like, can we talk for a second about Ben Burtt's, killing it yet again with the fucking sound effects?
Oh yeah.
And let's not think about why you would need fucking shell casings in this situation, firing an energy weapon. I don't know, or maybe they are firing projectile weapons. But it's just great for the effect.
Oh sure.
Ba-drang, and they're fucking ejecting a casing back, and then the noise of the casing hitting the fucking ground. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, those big cannons.
Yeah.
No, that's good stuff. And I noticed in this movie that the Jedi seem to have their own Batman utility belts, where they have fucking everything in there. They got grappling hooks, they got fucking comms, they got underwater breathing things.
Well, that's par, right? That's on par with how it's been, right?
Sure.
Episode 1, they had the breathers on them.
Yeah, it's certainly nothing they haven't done before.
Right. It seems odd to have that level of gear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's going. I'm going to make a James Bond reference that I don't think you're going to get.
Okay.
Because you've never seen a James Bond movie.
Correct.
Are you familiar with Q?
Yes.
Okay. So it's like going to Q and getting, like, okay, you're going on this secret mission. Here's your gear.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're gonna check out the fucking utility belt that's gonna have this stuff on it, just in case you need it.
Okay.
And then you're gonna hang the lightsaber off of that.
So they've got it for specific missions.
Right.
They've got it finally.
Not wearing
tuned.
it to go to the fucking bar in Tatooine, but it's like, hey, we're going on this mission. I'm gonna accessorize with this belt.
Yeah, we might need some grappling hooks if we're going through the elevator shafts.
Right.
We might need this. Okay, I get that. It is funny though. They just have their own little Batman utility belts.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the first thing I thought when I saw them pull out the grappling hooks and.
Yeah, it takes me right into episode 1, or not episode 1, episode A New Hope,
Mhm.
when Luke's, throws that thing up there to fucking so they can swing across the chasm.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you have that? You're in the desert. It's like Spider-Man not having a fucking building to fucking shoot his webs off of.
Mhm.
Like you're powerless, dude. Your special skill means nothing.
Unless he did a lot of mountain climbing on Tatooine, I don't know.
I guess the Junlin Straits are not to be traveled lightly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just shooting from the hip here. Palpatine, and of course Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine, did a pretty good job of acting during this whole sequence too, during the rescue and everything, because we know how powerful Palpatine is. At any point, he could have just fucking, busted out of his innocent exterior and just been like fuck and start like helping the ship land and doing this other stuff, but instead he like just played the frail old man who doesn't know what's going on, or
because he had to, right? Every point that we see Palpatine in this presentation is methodical. It is, I'm hitting this mark in the timeline that I created because I've foreseen that at this point I have to be seen as this vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, none of it works.
Right. Yeah,
It's this convoluted. I'm going to run this convoluted scheme to get to this point. It's Luke going to Jabba's palace. Like, why are you have the most complicated fucking plan? Just go in there. Like, the goal was to kill Jabba the Hutt and get your friends.
Yeah.
Go kill Jabba the Hutt and get your friends. Don't let like, oh, okay, you're gonna get captured. You're gonna be there for like a couple months, and then you're gonna go in there and you're gonna dress like a dude. You're gonna put the fucking helmet on and you're gonna hold a thermal detonator. But don't fuck it up. It's gonna be real. Like, can't be fake. It's gonna be real. Don't blow yourself up. Because what's gonna happen after that is you're gonna get naked and you're gonna be held prisoner there. You're gonna be on a chain. It's gonna be a thing.
Probably gonna get raped a few times.
Right.
It's part of the job.
He's got a long ass tail. Just don't clench too hard and just let it happen. It'll be fine. Then, like, it's the Palpatine plan. Everything has to move to a certain point. So Palpatine can't stop what ultimately is happening, even with, like, I think in the Palpatine plan of things, like, Obi-Wan wasn't included in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that he doesn't want Anakin to have that connection anyway.
Yeah, that would have been beneficial to him if they had been able to leave Obi-Wan behind.
Right. It would have just been like, yeah, his carcass is going to rot in this place anyway.
Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, jumping ahead a little bit, Obi-Wan's the reason why Anakin never reached his full potential, because he fucking slices him up and leaves him as a shell of a man. And we know that Darth Vader, once he's in the suit and everything, is not nearly as powerful as Anakin Skywalker was, or how he was gonna be. So Obi-Wan was really the last line of defense to keep him from taking over himself, because I'm sure Anakin would have fucking overthrown Palpatine in short order had he not been fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. I don't know. Let's have that discussion
towards
a little
the end.
bit. Yeah.
All right. Then moving on with my notes. Let's see what else I have. I loved when they're crashing the big ship. They find that runway. They hit it and they're traveling down. And then one of the wings, they go by a control tower. Like it looks like just one from an airport. Like a control tower, and they fucking slice that thing off, and just it comes crumbling down. I'm like, well, all those people are fucking dead.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, this is ridiculously. Why do you have this long ass runway?
Mm-hmm.
And all right, you have a long ass runway. Then why doesn't it have like an arresting system on it? If that's the intent, is to have something land on it like that.
Yeah.
An emergency.
Could have been like a dormant runway, like not used very much anymore.
I mean,
if at all.
I guess. But that was huge. I mean, the front half of that fucking starship is still huge.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, I just paying attention to it this time. I just noticed that they cut that fucking tower off and just, everything came crumbling. And I'm like, yeah, those people are all dead now. Great. This opening scene, how long do you think it was? From the very start of after the opening crawl to the point where they land on the ship and everybody's safe and they're off to see the politicians.
12 minutes.
23 minutes. This whole section is.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy how long this opening scene took, but it was. I mean, it was great. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, it was an especially long opening scene for this one.
Yeah.
But I'm here for it.
Yeah, this is a longer Star Wars movie, in the grand scheme, and it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be to finish what they started.
Yeah. Next thing I had when Anakin is running up to Padme, seeing her for the first time in God knows how long, and she's like, "Something wonderful has happened." She's like, "I'm pregnant," and he's like, "That's wonderful." I'm like, they could have. Come on, George. Just pick a different word, Don't have them both say, "Oh, this is wonderful." She could be like, "Something wonderful's happened. I'm pregnant." He'd be like, "That's incredible. Oh, that's great." But no, that's wonderful.
Or he could have been like, "I'm terrified, so I'm just going to use the word back at her that she said."
Yo, I got to go grab a pack of smokes.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Hey, want some blue milk?
Yeah.
I could go for some blue milk right now. I'll be back.
Yeah. And never comes back.
Deuces.
Wouldn't that be great? Thinking when he hurts
Directed by George Lucas.
Yeah. He just fucking beat feet out of there. He's like, "I ain't dealing with this shit." I was just fine with this hot piece of ass and nothing else. But
Yep.
Now we're going to bring a kid into the world.
Yeah, because the next sequences that Natalie Portman's in, she does not look good.
Right. And we've talked about this before.
I don't know how she, I know they filmed those sequences after the movie was over.
Yeah, they were part of the reshoots.
Yeah, but I don't know what, it's Natalie Portman.
Yes.
I don't know what you did to her to make her look
Weird.
ugly.
Yeah.
She just didn't look good. What did you do?
Yeah.
How did you pull that off, George? That is much a miracle as anything. You, for about 6 minutes of this movie,
Mm-hmm.
you made Natalie Portman almost unwatchable.
Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
I don't know.
You want to talk about all right, let's go back and CGI some shit. Let's take care of that.
There's some fixing that could have been there. Yeah, I wonder if it was just a real bad lighting.
Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Everybody knew. Had nothing to do with the lighting.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of why it just looks so awkward and out of place, besides the fact that it was shot later.
I don't think it was Natalie Portman.
You don't think so?
I think that they had somebody else and they just dubbed over her voice or something. Dude,
it's not her.
It doesn't look like her.
But it's her. It just.
Do I?
Yes, that is Natalie Portman in that scene.
I don't know. I'm right here. I'm here to start a conspiracy.
All right.
I don't think it was her. I think she was probably shooting V for Vendetta or some shit like that. And I mean, maybe that was it. Maybe because she had her head shaved or something like that, and so she had to wear this ridiculous wig. And maybe the glue from the wig made her fucking face swell up or some shit. I don't know. Yeah,
very strange scene though. Kind of corny dialogue, but it does help to, show just how much in love Anakin is with her, because she's the whole reason he does what he does.
I'll save it for the end, but my revelation after seeing this in a movie theater.
Yeah. And then this is the moment where everything changes in the movie, was that first dream that he has about her. Because up to this point, Anakin was still wisecracking Anakin, even though they were in these serious situations, he was still that jolly guy we knew from the Clone Wars TV show and everything. Same with Obi-Wan. And granted, I know Clone Wars came after this, but we're going through the movie and everything still seems pretty cool, and then he has this first dream, and that's when everything changes.
Right.
Like his whole tone, like everything about Anakin changes after that first moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I never put enough stock into that vision that he had in the past as I do now, because it was the same thing that happened to his mom.
Exactly.
Exactly. And he had those visions of his mom right before she fucking died.
Mm-hmm.
And now he knows, Padme's giving birth soon, and he's starting to have these dreams that she's going to die. So,
well, not soon, because she's not that pregnant yet.
Yeah.
Like so
soonish. I mean, there is still a clock running there.
There is a clock running, and we assume that she's in first trimester, not showing.
Yeah.
Right. So, you start getting into some timing stuff, but it is definitely I agree. That's the switch.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, fuck, I've already seen what the result of these dreams are.
Yeah.
And I can't let that happen. How the fuck do I stop that from happening? And that preoccupies his thinking for everything.
Yeah. And then right after this, as he's fucking like fretting about Padme, now he starts getting pulled in a bunch of different directions. Palpatine's like, oh, I want you to be my guy on the Jedi Council. Jedi Council's like, fuck you, you're not a master. And we do want you to spy on fucking Palpatine.
Well, I think it's important to note before we even get to that, right? When we're talking about either the fall of Anakin or the development of Vader, right?
Mm-hmm.
How close Anakin was to not turning to the dark side, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was a good little Jedi. He went to Yoda when he didn't have to.
Right.
Right? Because Yoda, he knew that Yoda could very easily have seen into him and found out what was going on for real.
Yeah.
But he wanted to try and have this problem solved at a level that was still within the Jedi code in some stretch.
Yeah, for sure.
He did not want to betray the order.
Right.
At this point. Like he still believed in it.
Yeah, and even
believed in something.
Even as he's in the process of, exterminating the Jedi, you can still see he's torn.
Oh yeah, it definitely destroys him, right? And that's deliberate, right?
Yeah.
It's Palpatine's mastery of using that, using Padme against him, and probably giving him the visions as it was.
Right, that's one of those unanswered questions, right? Was it Palpatine projecting this to Anakin, or was it just Anakin having a true, vision of the future?
Who knows how the Force works in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
We know that Palpatine says later, obviously in Rise of Skywalker, when Palpatine's like, I'm the one who was the voice in your head. I'm the one who was, giving you all those images.
Yeah.
And it's not beyond the scope of what he could potentially do, because obviously he's the puppet master of this entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
So do I think that he could have done it? Yeah, absolutely. I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I put more stock into, like, he goes to Yoda, sits down with Yoda and has this interaction, and Yoda sucks so fucking hard.
Yeah, his advice was not very good.
I don't know why Yoda, like, this is like, I don't know. I don't know if there's some poisoning of Yoda that happens like towards the end, because he just can't think properly because the Force is so imbalanced.
Yeah.
And obviously the veil of the dark side is over them until it's so the veil of the dark side was over them so much at the end that they finally realize that it's happening.
Yeah.
Like Mace Windu, he says, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why does he why does that happen? Well, I'm telling you why it's happened, because fucking Palpatine let it happen. But we'll get there. But all of these things, like Yoda should have been like, all right, hey Anakin, let's work this out a little bit more. Let's work through this a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, you are on the precipice of some very, very dangerous thinking right now.
Right, and Yoda should have sensed that.
Right.
He should have sensed that in that conflict in Anakin.
Right. Instead, now we have another agenda.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you might be the chosen one, but yeah, you're not master material. I don't really give a shit about you. I'm an elitist motherfucker. I'm going to ostracize you even more, pushing you further to the fucking dark side. When you've had this sense that the dark side kind of follows Anakin around. You've said as much, yet you still, at that opportunity, when Anakin is there and vulnerable to the fact that, like, he's not there because somebody told him to go there.
Right.
He's there because he's trying to work something out, and you decide that you're not going to fucking help him. You decide that you're going to give him some bullshit ass answer, like, what do I need to do to fucking help myself? Like, you need to train yourself to let go of anything that you care about. What the fuck kind of answer is that? Like, the answer at the end of that, it might as well be like, oh, how do you fix that? Find yourself a piece of toilet paper and then get the sharpest pencil you have and then try and write a fucking Tolkien novel on it.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it.
Right.
It's not going to happen, which is exactly the same thing as fucking anything that Yoda says about what to do with the Jedi, with the attachments and all the bullshit. This movie continues to solidify the fact that Yoda is the problem. Yoda's the problem. The little green fuck has made his decision tree is the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, he's the little green guy. Like, if we go against him, then we're the bad people. So we're gonna let the green guy do his thing.
Yeah.
Don't want to.
When he beats feet out to Kashyyyk, he's like, I'm friends with the Wookiees. I'll go handle this.
And just the giving up, right? All those motherfuckers that like want to get on Luke for giving up at one point, despite Rian Johnson's writing or whatever. But we have precedents for this.
True.
Yoda just was like, all right, I got my ass beat. I'm done. I'm out. I'm going to go to some fucking swamp planet. And, if something happens, I'll might get involved.
Right.
Or
very little.
Or I won't. But fuck you guys. I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, hey, I foresee that I need to be in a position where the Emperor can't find me. No, I'm going to run and hide because I'm a bitch. So Yoda is the problem.
Okay. I could definitely see that. And that's actually what I wrote in my notes. Thanks for the no help, Yoda.
Yeah.
Now, there's a real tension that's kind of building in the background with the Jedi at this point, too. Because, like you said with Mace Windu, when he's like, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi, it was more than that, too, because after Anakin had his council meeting where, Palpatine appointed him to the council, and they're at that meeting where you won't be a fucking master.
Right.
After that, when he's talking to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan's like, fucking something is wrong here. Something is fucked up. Some shit is going down. We can't quite figure it out, but we need you to spy on Palpatine. Maybe that'll help us, come to whatever. But like all the Jedi were feeling uneasy at this point. Mace Windu, he's very untrustful of Anakin, and then when he senses the plot to destroy the Jedi, so they can all feel the world, about to crumble down around them, but they can't do anything about it.
Yeah. They have a sensation that something is going to happen, but they can't really sense what.
Right.
All right. Or how bad it really is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would think that a council of masters would have been able to sense Order 66, right? And this is where you have to, if, for me with the story, I have to believe that this veil of the dark side was so strong that if you can blind all of these Jedi Masters to the fact that you're going to have all of these clones that you're hanging around all the time.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at Commander Cody right in the fucking eye, and all I have to say is, all Homeboy has to say is a couple words, and all of a sudden, bam, he's going to fucking turn on you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't fucking read that in the Force. Something's up.
Yeah.
But they're oblivious to it. Like, it's remarkable.
Yeah. But I do like how they kind of build that tension to the point where they know something's wrong. They just can't figure out what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good shit.
Well, and I'll continue to stand on my pulpit of this is the continuation of the crescendo of what's going to happen for Palpatine. Everything on this timeline has to come and meet in one point.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, I'm going to unlock this bit of information. I'm going to choose your own story, and I'm going to force you to go down this pathway, and I'm going to force you to go down this pathway. And I think that's what a lot of that is. Like, some of the revelations that happen are, in fact, just Palpatine allowing it. Not the Jedi figuring it out. It's Palpatine allowing it.
Yeah.
And I'll explain more of that when we get to the sequence.
Okay. Real quick. So yeah, I had mentioned that Anakin was being pulled in a bunch of different directions. Obi-Wan and the Council wanted him to spy. Palpatine, wanted him on his side. And now Padme is like, what the fuck if we're on the wrong side?
Yeah.
So now he's being pulled in that direction, and he's like, whoa, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm on this side because you're on this side. Like,
yeah.
The fuck?
So yeah, so now he's got all this shit going on around him. And oh, by the way, this fucking gorgeous woman that I get to sleep with every day is about to be taken away from me, and I want to preserve that.
Right.
So yeah,
and a child that he probably can't foresee what's going to happen with.
Right.
What's going to happen on the other side of that? You can't see that.
Yep. So you can just see how well he built Anakin up to make this turn. Like, in the past, I've complained about how his turn seemed sudden, but after rewatching it, and especially with all the expanded material, and then rewatching this movie again with a modern eye, you can really tell how well they built up that tension to get to the point where Anakin, made the choice, even though it was a difficult choice. So by putting all this stuff around him that's going to frustrate him, and yeah. Did you notice that the Emperor's theme was playing in that scene where Yoda, Mace Windu, and Obi-Wan are flying and they're talking about Anakin?
I did not.
Yeah, so in the background, fucking Palpatine's theme is playing when they're having that conversation.
Huh.
Which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, I have to pay attention to that.
Yeah, when Mace Windu is like, I don't trust him. And Obi-Wan's like, isn't he the chosen one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A prophecy misread. Like, really, Yoda? Really? We're at this point.
Yeah.
Where you said, yeah, we might have misread the prophecy. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right now, you tell us.
Yeah. They should have threw him out of the fucking ship at that point.
Though, they did establish in other canon that, Qui-Gon was really obsessed with the prophecies, while the rest of the Jedi Order, not so much. They weren't, putting all their hopes on these prophecies or anything like that.
Yeah, but we get to the point with once the kid is found, right? Once the Star Wars Christ is found,
yeah.
Now they're on board with it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So they don't have a reason to not believe it at this point. And now Yoda is like, Yoda's reaction to this again pisses me off. Like, I'm on this steady. I was on a Yoda decline, but even after watching it a couple more times, I'm like, I can't. Like, I want to know. I really don't want to know more about Yoda, but I do want to know more about the motivation and decision making
Yeah.
because it seems it's very unilateral.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone looks to him to make the decision, even though that the council is supposed to be equal. They eliminated the Grand Master,
Mm-hmm.
right? We know that that's canon, right? The whole Grandmaster thing that they eliminated.
Yeah.
So Yoda's not the Grand Master, but everyone defers to him as if he is.
Sure.
So what's the point of not having a Grand Master if you're still going to defer to the little green fuck?
Yeah. No, I get that. Then I've just got the opera scene written here because to this day, this is still one of the best individual scenes that I think is in all of Star Wars, to include everything that's been made after. The scene with him and Palpatine, just fucking brilliant. And again, Ian McDiarmid just killed it in this movie.
Mhm.
Absolutely killed it. And this was one of the scenes that really did it for me. And I mean, we've retreaded it a bunch of times, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's a good scene. And when I watched it this most recent time, I really focused in on the Hayden Christensen's reaction to they asked you to spy on me, didn't they?
Yeah.
Right? Which Palpatine knew it.
Oh yeah.
And like knew that Anakin was uncomfortable and was like, okay, this is the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the moment to start with planting that seed
Right.
to start his teaching. Right? Everything else was like, okay, I need him to do these things to gain his power, right? And learn how to use his power.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need him to start using his hate
Yeah.
and figure out like how to tame that. Wash the Jedi out of him a little bit. And this is where you see it. Like, and the discomfort in Anakin when he's like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, like a kid caught in a lie or
Yeah.
something.
And I'm, as you said before, like there's been times in the prequels where I'm just like, oh my God, this is so sophomoric, some of this rhetoric. But this is one of those scenarios where it's like, yeah, he is kind of like, it's a parent-child relationship.
Yeah.
And he wants him to have this reaction. Like he is deliberately making him into this child role.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wants him to feel like, oh, I did something wrong.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't.
Yeah, and before, I love when Anakin's like, I never wanted any part of this. He's like, I never asked to be on the council.
Right.
You know, so he didn't ask for any of this shit.
Yeah. And he told Palpatine that, hey, the council's never going to buy off on this shit. So, thank you for the honor, but the council's never going to buy off on it. Again, Anakin showing that, like, it was never the aspiration of, like, I want to rule the world.
Mm-hmm.
His initial reaction was always deferment.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what I want. What I want, or what I can do, is this, and have the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
Until this scene.
Yeah.
And then what has already started to develop after the sleeping sequences and the dreams, now Palpatine is going to turn that into a full-on, like, you're not going to think about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to drive every decision you make.
Yep.
For the next hour and a half.
Yeah, and it's telling him the story of Darth Plagueis was brilliant, because he just drops a seed. Oh, by the way, this guy, this Sith, he was able to stop people from dying.
Right.
So...
And Anakin, there was a point where I think too, it was the fishing line where, like, Palpatine had it out there, and it felt like it got away a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And so Palpatine's just sitting there quiet, and Anakin's like, no, Jedi are selfless.
Right.
Right. And so Palpatine's like, all right, that one didn't work. All right, I got one. So, and then he pulls out the Plagueis story. I like that pause. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was good. It was well executed.
Yeah, because Anakin's just there in an uncomfortable silence, but he's not, taking that hook yet.
Right.
So Palpatine's like, all right, now what do we do? Oh,
Right.
over here,
Yeah, I'm gonna dangle some truth in front of the kid.
Yep. Which is exactly what he wants to hear.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to hear that there's powers out there that let you stop people from dying.
Right.
Obviously, because that's his whole concern right now is Padme. So Palpatine played him like a fucking fiddle.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he knew exactly. One way, by hook or by crook, he was going to have him.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And this was the start. This was what got him that initial tug, and then later on when he makes the final turn.
Yeah! That's the biggest fucking fish I've ever gotten.
So Obi-Wan goes to Utapau, not to be
Right.
confused with the place in Thailand.
Right.
I think it's spelled the exact same way too.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, Utapau is a place we've been to in
Yeah.
Thailand. It's outside of like Bangkok and all that, but it's
It's like a resort town.
yeah, it's a pretty wild place.
Yes.
So anyway,
Stories for another day.
yeah, so Obi-Wan goes to Utapau, and after that initial conversation with the guy, he apparently just stops at the Lizard Mount rental store.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Like, well, it's just like in Jedi Survivor, right? Where you just like whistle up a fucking a ride from somewhere, and they just
Right.
come running up. That's what he did.
yeah, I just thought that was funny. He just pulls up on his lizard and is like, "Oh, look at me."
So when the guy from the banking clan, right? Because that's what that dude's. What species is that guy?
The banking clan guy, wasn't he the dude that had the voice thing on his chest?
No.
Oh,
No. So the guy with the teeth and that is talking to Obi-Wan. It's like, excuse me, they're watching us right now.
Uh-huh.
Like that guy.
yeah.
All I could think about when they're having the conversation
Uh-huh.
is that dude's breath was probably kicking. Like, there's no way that in this universe, this galaxy of Star Wars, not one motherfucker's popping a breath mint anywhere. And these aliens, they have weird diets and all kinds of other shit. There's no fucking way that a dude with that fucking mouthful of teeth like that and just weird species.
Mm-hmm.
All I could think about was like, man, and that dude leaned in close like that.
Oh yeah.
And,
It's like, oh God.
Obi-Wan didn't visibly react, but I have a feeling it would have fucking melted my paint if I was fucking standing there.
Can't breathe in.
Like, yeah, the
the
Muns. Yeah, banking clan are the Muns.
Okay. Do you know who what actor played that role of that guy with the weird teeth and the
No.
bad breath? Did you ever see the Mad Max movies?
The original ones?
Any of them up to 3?
Yeah.
Do you remember the pilot, the goofy pilot that he would always come across? I think in the second and third movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
That's
same
that
actor.
guy?
Yeah,
Is he that tall?
apparently.
Wow.
So anyway, I thought that was funny.
Muncast acid breath. Yes, exactly.
Yep.
That's all I could, this latest watching, that's all I could think of. I was like, man, his breath must have been kicking.
Yeah.
Good on Obi-Wan for not reacting. Good diplomacy right there.
So getting to the part where Obi-Wan is fighting Grievous.
Hang on. Before we get there, I got one more thing about this exchange
All right,
between
go
these
ahead.
two. Right? Ask for fuel.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Fuel's a thing. And gets fuel ridiculously fast. And as the Mun is walking away, the other Muns go, is he bringing more warriors? And then the guy goes, he didn't say. So I'm like, it's a small thing, but I think it's important to show that not everybody, like that that wasn't like a scripted reaction, right? That was legitimately like, hey, these people here as the representatives of this world
Mm.
are not with the separatists.
Right.
Like they don't want to have these people here as much as anybody.
Mm.
Like they don't want the war to be there.
Sure.
And we don't see that a lot. Like we get a lot of that in like Clone Wars and Rebels, like where there's like the bystanders.
Yeah.
But for these movies, you don't see it a lot. And this small interaction with them walking away, kind of saying something to each other
Mm.
while they're being watched from the overhead by fucking Q-tip fucking electricity guys.
Yeah.
I thought it was more important scene than you might expect. Because all right, they're being watched, yet they're still willing to put themselves out there to say like, yeah, hey, we're being held hostage. This is where they're at. Help us.
Yeah.
Please help us. So I don't know. It was a short exchange, and it could have been written off very easily. However, I think it was important because it showed a vulnerability of the separatists, and like not everybody. They didn't roll into a planet like Utapau and then have control over everything.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, actually it was earlier on when they were sparring with Grievous way back at the beginning on the ship, where I kind of noticed like the CG they used for Grievous was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm watching the whole movie and I'm like, this CG could pretty much hold up to today. Like for the most part, there's some improvements they've made in CG and
Sure.
they could have fixed the mannequin sliding, but
right. Well, I mean, the money that would have been spent on that got spent on Grievous.
Right. And the whole movie looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like you can tell they're doing a lot of green screening, but just graphically it just looks fantastic. And it looks like it could compare to modern day movies. Hell, some modern day movies, their CG sucks.
Yeah.
Like there's some Avengers movies that well, not Avengers, but a Marvel movie where their fucking graphics are terrible, and you're like, this is this multi-billion-dollar franchise, and this is what you're giving us.
It's not Star Wars, man.
Yep.
It's not Lucasfilm.
Yeah, and that was the thing about George, man. He put everything into this, and he put all that love and attention and the attention to detail.
Hey, we watched, we got through the entire series of the Industrial Light and Magic.
Yep.
That told us everything we needed to know about the level of detail that George Lucas and the people that he employs, the expectation of what's going into Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars was the baby. Right, here's the baby. Right, don't fuck it up. You can Indiana Jones can get away with a little bit less, because it's not a space opera.
Right.
But with this core product, don't fuck it up. Like visually, we don't want people to walk away going like that looked chunky.
Right.
If we can help it.
Because all the movies that people walked out of up to that point, Star Wars movies, graphically, just fantastic, like ahead of its time.
Yeah, you're blown away every time.
Yep. So I loved in the scene when he's fighting Grievous when he goes to kick him, and his like shin just hits that fucking metal, and he's just like ah.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
part.
it's because he's getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah,
right. He's getting thrown around like homeboy's getting battered.
Yeah, and he doesn't have his lightsaber because he dropped that
because his ass dropped it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Grievous was kicking his ass until he exposed the inner organs and did all that. But no, I just took note of when he kicked him because I thought that was pretty funny. I can feel that too. Imagine like kicking with your shin like a hard piece of metal, and just that had to hurt.
Species. This is comes courtesy out of the Discord channel. We have a in-show chat on the Discord channel. This is Homeboy.
Yeah,
but his teeth are more sharp in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there they are. I got it zoomed in a little.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing his special dentures.
Yeah,
in this photo shoot.
But look at that face. Like, tell me that breath isn't kicking, man.
Oh, it's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be. He was a Padawan.
Okay.
Padawan. Padawan? Padawan. Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Ugh,
Thank you
almost
to
sneezed.
Scott in our in-show chat in the Discord channel.
Yeah.
Join our Discord channel if you so desire.
When Padme and Anakin are doing that like stare across Coruscant at each other.
The music.
Oh, the music was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And do you think in that back and forth that Padme actually felt him through the Force? Because Anakin could feel her, but because she, something caught her attention and made her look up and walk over to the Jedi Temple and just kind of like look at it while he was up in the fucking council chambers staring at her.
I mean, she's got a Force baby growing in her.
Oh, that's a good point.
She could be getting a little bit of that.
Okay.
But I mean, at the same time, like, how many times have you, like, coincidentally done had this inclination of fucking walk or turn and look at something, and it's like, oh yeah, look, it's happening right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Okay.
like shit like that happens, and I kind of put it as that, less so about the Force and more so about like, here's the situation. Like, you have two people that are, this is all they're thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that moment, they know where each other are.
Yeah.
So that's the direction you're going to look.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So, but I thought this is one of those places where the music being at that, that it was like at a, not a, I don't know.
It's tough to describe the noise that was
Yeah,
going on, but it fit the scene.
Yeah, it did. And it's, if you listen to the soundtrack, it has a sequence playing on it, and then it goes into something later.
Yeah.
Because, obviously in a movie, they don't just take the whole song, they take, segments of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the perfect, like, here's the turning point. Right? This is where it happens.
Yeah.
He's sitting there like, I can't let them kill the person who potentially could save her life.
Right. Because Palpatine even whispered to him through the Force. He's like, remember, if they kill me, then...
Right. And what's funny is today, or not today, but over the weekend, when I rewatched it, when I heard the voice the first time, I thought, man, it doesn't seem like that was a flashback.
Right.
And then when I watched it again the next time, I was paying more attention to it. I'm like, that's definitely Palpatine talking to him.
Yeah.
Not him having a flashback.
Right. The same way...
That's Palpatine influencing him.
Yeah, the same way
moment.
that like Vader was talking to Luke at the end of Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Luke's on the Falcon flying away, and Vader's
Luke.
like, Luke, yeah.
Son.
So they're conversing through the Force, and that's exactly what Palpatine is doing right here.
Yeah.
And he's basically telling him, like, hey, these guys kill me. Your whole making people live is out the window.
Yep.
It's gone.
You're never going to have this. You're everything you love is going to go.
Yep.
It's going to be gone.
Then he looks across, senses Padme, and a little tear, one of many tears we see streaming down his face throughout the rest of this movie.
Because he knows he's going to have to disobey.
Yeah.
And go and potentially do the unthinkable.
Yep.
And that's the music changes. Like, I'm sure there's stuff in the background that changes, because I know when Kate was still in her telecon degree, they talk about movies. I guess there's certain like lighting and shapes that change in the movie itself that'll signify like a tonal change.
Right.
Like they can use actually like certain colors and shapes and subconsciously that it's not, and until you know it, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But I felt like that stuff was happening. Like, he gets in that shuttle, which is a different shuttle that I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
and gets in that shuttle and takes off. You're like, ah, shit, here we go.
Yeah. And even before that, did you have anything on the second conversation between Palpatine and Anakin when he basically revealed that he was a Sith Lord?
No, I mean,
Because another good scene in my opinion.
I think he buried the lead, honestly, with it. It was he kind of knew. I think Anakin knew when he walked in there. I think Anakin knew why it would be so important for him not to like get rid of Palpatine.
Mm.
Like the importance of Palpatine started to like really be developed. So I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
I completely lost my train of thought.
That's fine.
I'm looking at fucking Ewoks on the wall and I lost my train of thought.
Don't look at the Ewoks.
God damn it.
Their eyes are mesmerizing. So then we get to the part where it's Mace Windu and crew heading up to
Bad
stop
motherfucker.
Palpatine.
Fucking, they get the low camera angle. Look at him strolling into the chamber.
Yeah, and this is where you brought up a while back, a couple months ago, I think you had brought this up to me. I think it was outside of the show, and talking about how Palpatine kind of played them in this scene.
Yeah.
How he kind of, how basically he was able to kill them with such ease.
Yeah. So this entire sequence, right? We talked about in other shows where we've done this movie, and just when we're trashing more or less the prequels, these Jedi dying so Kit Fisto dying so fucking easy, like Palpatine just suddenly like a couple swipes and these guys are out.
Yeah.
And when I started to think about it as to what is happening in this particular part of the sequence.
Mm.
And we have times where I believe that Palpatine was so fast when he after it's treason then and he fucking comes out of the chair.
Yeah.
I think that their reaction, they had lightsabers activated in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And he somehow got inside their guard and took them out.
Yeah.
I think he was moving so fast that they just could not touch him.
Yeah, kind of like you're watching a show like The Flash or something, and he's like kind of moving at normal speed,
right?
But everything is going super slow around him.
Exactly.
So like when you see Palpatine kind of just pull back and then hit the guy in the stomach, like that wasn't like 2 seconds of him doing that. That was like a millisecond,
right?
Just, but he was doing it so fast.
Because even the people are like, coming around.
Yeah.
And then the interaction with Windu, he brings it back.
Yeah.
He brings it back to normal time.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows that he needs Anakin in the room.
Right.
For when the fucking the turning point happens.
Yeah, and I'm sure he already sensed Anakin arriving.
Right. He's like, okay, I know he's coming. So I just got to toy with Mace for just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Coast is clear. I killed all these other Jedi. There's nobody else coming. It's just me and Windu. And Palpatine could have taken Windu out at any moment.
Right.
Like this idea that Windu was so much more powerful and that's why he stood up to Palpatine for longer. Complete horseshit. Complete horseshit. None of them were strong enough.
Yeah.
They've demonstrated that none of them were strong enough to handle Palpatine in that moment.
Right. And that, to me, that goes back to the rule of two. This goes back to what Darth Bane started, where all of that knowledge that the Sith have will pass on to one other person, and they'll know even more, and they'll be more powerful, and then their apprentice will be even more powerful, until you get to Palpatine, who's now just like the fucking epitome of all the Sith that have come before him.
He is at the top of this fucking pyramid, and yeah, I am the Senate.
Yeah.
Shore Patrol, what? Wally. When he gets to this point with Windu, it's almost like, all right, I'm going to knock this window out and I'm going to get set up here. And then I'm going to allow myself to be in a defensive position.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the force lightning and everything else, like I get the sense that he's still controlling this fight.
Oh yeah.
Right. And
Yeah. Even when he's getting his face fucked up.
yeah, it's like, all right, I'm this is happening, but this is what has to happen.
Right. Because, when he's going to, too weak.
Right.
Don't kill
That's
me,
all.
please.
Obviously, it's a fucking. He's play acting to get Anakin, because he needs Anakin to fucking do what he does.
Right.
Like, he needs Anakin to fucking get involved, and not necessarily kill Windu. All he has to do is get involved.
Yeah.
Right. And disrupt, like, not eliminate Palpatine, but to eliminate the Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, that's the choice. That's a red pill, blue pill. That's the, like, when you're the one and the decision you have to make. Like, if he takes out Palpatine right then it's over.
Yeah.
Like, everything's over. That's the choice. That's the illusion of choice.
Mm-hmm.
And Palpatine knew the choice he was going to make because he set everything up.
Yep.
For him to make that choice.
Yep.
That's why he was standing there.
Put all those pieces into place with the Padme talk and
Right.
The Darth Plagueis stuff.
And Anakin knew every up to the last moment standing there that what he even his interference in this would have consequence. And he was reticent to do it. Right? He did not immediately jump in and help Windu.
Right.
Right? He was off to the side trying to figure out what is the best course of action here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and Windu wasn't like, hey, we're the good guys. He's the bad guy. We got to take him out. Windu was like, I got to kill this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, wait, that's not the answer. Right?
Yeah.
So Windu wasn't helping. And Palpatine could have been fucking had his hand up his ass puppeting him.
Right. So, and essentially Windu's doing the same thing that Anakin did to Dooku.
Yeah.
Because Anakin didn't want to kill Dooku, but then he had Palpatine whisper in his ear. But Mace Windu, he was actually like just fucking ready to kill him. He didn't need anybody whisper in his ear. He was going to kill him no matter what.
Yep. And then, you get Palpatine uncorked with unlimited power.
Yeah,
right?
that's the point where you realize he's been fucking around this whole time,
playing possum that whole fucking time.
Yeah,
right. And that to me is Windu never had a fucking chance. Like, Palpatine could have eliminated all the Jedi that walked in immediately, just as easily as he took out the other ones.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the fact all these Mace Windu fucking, all these I want to suck on his purple lightsaber. I get it, because and you know what makes me have a strong opinion on it. The Mace Windu book that I was reading.
Oh yeah, we never got to that.
Yeah, there is some interesting things in that book about Mace Windu and how he feels about things that are happening in a Jedi Order that never actually translate into the movies.
Right.
And there's no real explanation for it in my mind. And like him being so powerful, it just doesn't track into like, this is why this is happening. Like, they have to understand that this is inevitable.
Yeah.
Right. All these things are happening because Palpatine directed it all. Like, I'm bringing everybody to here.
Yes.
Right. I don't got 7:30 already.
I know.
All right. And we haven't even got to the best part.
Okay. Well.
So anyway, that for me, this part was one of the biggest.
Yeah.
Because of Palpatine fully revealing himself to Anakin, and now Anakin knows that I've committed.
Yeah, you get that sense when after he says, "What have I done?" that he's just like, "That's it. I have my one little amount of regret. but now I've started down this path and I have to
Yep.
continue.
Yep. Exactly.
Which is why he was all too ready to kill some younglings, you know,
Mhm.
because he had his moment, but he realizes, nope, this is the side I'm on now. So
Yep.
got to do what we got to do.
The Jedi weren't going to fucking be able to help me save the one I love.
Yep.
And every time I went to ask them for help, they scorned me. So fuck them.
Mm-hmm. So we are getting long on time here. Real quick, the purge scene, Order 66.
Yeah.
Great music again, as all the Jedi are getting gunned down.
Yep.
John Williams just has that great kind of sad soundtrack over it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really good.
Like I said, some of his best work.
Yep.
This movie.
Yep. I don't know if I never noticed this before or if I had just forgotten about it, but when it came to when Palpatine was talking to the separatist leaders who were on Mustafar, he's like, "My apprentice will arrive soon. He will take care of you."
Yeah. It seemed
Take care of him?
right. It seemed like that was pretty obvious
I know, right?
what he meant.
Did he just?
I guess
Is
Nemoidians
he-
don't pick up sarcasm or like innuendo.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not part of their species.
He will take care of you.
Yeah, the next scene should be the new Viceroy Gunray turning and going, did he say that weird?
Yes.
Does it feel like he went take care of you?
Yeah.
Like, did I just hear that wrong?
Yeah. No, that was pretty good.
Maybe we should go. Should we go? Nah, it'll be fine.
Real quick, I'm almost done with my notes, and then we can finish up because I'm sure you've got a few things to talk about. I'm pretty sure Yoda knows by the end that Anakin and Padme were together, because when him and Obi-Wan are talking about who's going to take on who, and Obi-Wan's like, "Well, I don't know how to find him," and Yoda's like, "Follow your heart," or whatever he said.
Search your feelings.
Yeah, and probably knowing that Anakin and Padme are together, and that Obi-Wan could just go to Padme and do it. But I have a feeling Yoda knew at this point.
Yoda's such a fucking this is again one of those spots where Yoda is just so much more complicit in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Obi-Wan's the one. I don't know that if Obi-Wan doesn't tell them, hey, we should go back and change the coded message, I don't know that Yoda would have done that.
Right, because it was Obi-Wan.
Would have been fine with like, all right, whoever shows up there, they're on their own. Fuck them.
Yeah.
As long as I'm safe.
Yeah, and Obi-Wan's like, yeah, no, we need to fucking do this. This is kind of important. And then Yoda's like, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, because I need Bail Organa to actually fly me around. So, and he really likes the Jedi.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and agree with this one.
Right.
Which means the sequence that follows this where Yoda and Obi-Wan are fighting the clones, and you get Yoda throwing his fucking lightsaber into the chest of the fucking clone trooper.
Yep.
I enjoyed that. That was actually pretty good.
That was good. Then the only other thing I had note-wise was...
And then I threw the Senate at him.
Yeah, we had that whole sequence,
Right.
the whole, Obi-Wan versus Anakin and Palpatine versus Yoda.
Yeah. You had like Ian McDermott, his maniacal, just like knowing full well that he just is like, I am the winner.
Yeah.
Here. And except for the couple times where he like fell down and was just like, I was supposed to fall. Fuck you.
Yeah, and at first I didn't like that version of it, Palpatine, where he was just kind of like cackling all the time and just always like ha ha ha. But then, I was thinking kind of the same thing as you. Was no, now he knows he's won.
Yeah,
he knows all this little shit that this little frog is trying to do to me is nothing. I'll get rid of him.
This is a culmination of decades of planning and setting so many things in motion.
Yep.
To get one of the most powerful Jedi possible. Well, then turn up the heat. One of the most powerful Jedi to turn to be his apprentice
Mm-hmm.
and also to rule the galaxy.
Yeah. And by the way, eliminate all the Jedi.
Right.
And,
Eliminate all and now at that point, right, to try and live forever.
yes.
Because that was the intent.
Yeah, that was always Palpatine's intent,
Right.
for sure.
He was like, I want this to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
And now, the story that should have been told better with the sequel trilogy and didn't, with Palpatine trying to extend his life with the
cloning and all that.
cloning and the what was the name of the mission? It was
Operation Necromancer.
yeah,
Yeah.
all that shit. So anyway,
Project Necromancer.
that sounds better. Yeah, we do operations.
Yeah.
They do projects,
Sure.
probably. Yeah, it was his cackling and just he this is like, oh man, everything fucking worked. Everything fucking worked. Fuck this little green twerp. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to throw the Senate at him. Like, it literally, he was enjoying it.
Yeah.
He was enjoying it because he didn't have to hide.
Yeah, and he didn't feel threatened at all.
Right. This entire time he had his alter ego, right? And he had to hide his power.
Mm-hmm.
Now he didn't have to.
Yep.
And he was enjoying the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Because in passion, he was using his passion, right? Which doesn't just have to be fucking like being in mourning because something, he's
or being in love.
fantastically happy because everything is going as he has foreseen it.
Yep.
Until it doesn't, and then he says, "Yeah, I foresaw that."
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about Anakin and Obi-Wan. I mean,
The only thing to talk about, honestly, is this is the best fight sequence that we're ever going to have in Star Wars.
you think so?
Like, I don't know how you could do any better.
Right.
Like, what two characters are you going to pit against each other that are going to produce this fight?
Yeah.
Because not just the fact that how their choreography was,
Yeah.
right? Because they were so intent on making it as good as it could be. Like they practiced and they loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it. And they wanted it to be perfect. Perfect to the point where they had to slow the fuck down or it would show up on film.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They were super into it. You had the Chosen One and with Obi-Wan basically growing up together, right? Obi-Wan goes from being a Padawan to a fucking master,
Yep.
right? In the same fucking foul swoop. And now he spends his entire adulthood with Anakin,
Yeah.
right? When he cries out, "You were my brother," right? He truly meant it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this battle between the two of them, you cannot put two characters on opposite sides of the spectrum that had such a close bond
Yeah.
in anywhere in these movies, and then have a sequence like this.
Yeah. And very close to each other power-wise as well.
Yeah. Because when they fought, they were legitimately, like, you saw it, like when they were like force pushing into each other and
Mhm.
everything else. Like, it was Anakin being as pissed off as he ever was,
Yeah.
and Obi-Wan being as righteous as he ever was.
Yep.
And that's how they fought.
And not to mention, you had one of the best soundtracks playing in the background during this
motherfucker.
whole fucking fight.
Dude, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that at least 5, probably closer to 10 times a week. I've listened to that.
Oh yeah.
That track.
Uh-huh.
Between Anakin's Dark Deeds and Anakin versus Obi-Wan,
Mm-hmm.
easily 5 to 10 times a week,
Nice.
because it's perfect. It's perfection. Like, lay that music over anything else that you want to have, like a level of intensity that it goes beyond mortality.
Yeah.
Like, this is good versus evil. The outcome of this battle is going to determine the sake of the world.
Yeah.
That's the intensity of their fight without CGI, without, obviously the scenery with the lava and everything else. Like, you almost forget that that's even there.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's just a background for what they're fucking fighting in.
Mm-hmm.
Until you get to the high ground bit. Yeah, it's fucking, it's one of the perfect scenes in movies.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like a fucking 10-12 minute sequence.
It's long. It's a long battle.
Yeah. It does go back and forth with
Yoda, I know.
with Yoda and Palpatine, but yeah, they're, for the amount of screen time that they had and the amount of rehearsing that they probably did, like, yeah, dude, it was fucking spectacular.
Yeah, they pulled out all the stops for it.
Yeah.
Anything else? I have one other thing.
Yeah.
Because of how much more I paid attention to what they were doing to Anakin throughout this movie, pulling him in the different directions and whatnot, and then him just, all he wants is to, save Padme. I actually kind of forgive the no at the end. Like, I'm actually not as upset with that as I used to be. Now, I fucking hate what they did in Return of the Jedi with that. I'll never forgive that.
Yeah.
But for this particular scene in Revenge of the Sith, I'm fine with it. Because, it's still that same Anakin underneath that we just saw, 20 minutes ago. But now he's got all the fucking armor on, but he still fucking loves Padme. He still wants to make sure she's all right, and he finds out she's dead, and he's like, fuck.
Yeah. This entire thing, the entire culmination of fucking 6 movies is all because of her.
To an extent, sure.
It's all because of a broad.
Yeah.
And I like how they did at the end is they have, her, the funeral scene, and with her being carted into that sequence with him being carted into the
into the operating room.
Yeah, the operating rooms, and both being operated on at the same time, and her screaming and him screaming, and I thought that was just good cinematography.
Oh hell yeah.
But I think the screen bit, he need that the pan back. It just didn't seem like Star Wars to me.
Yeah.
Like the new, and then it panning back like that. I liked the Palpatine look.
Yeah.
Like the smirk that he had. Like yes, this motherfucker is going to be like, I'm going to unleash this hell.
Yeah.
All over the galaxy.
Because now he is nothing but anger.
Right. He is going to be in pain. Like, let's focus for a second on what he looked like going into that suit. Okay?
Yeah, pretty fucked up.
Yeah. So it wasn't like, hey, we're going to put you in a back to tank, get you cleaned up, like, so that your skin can grow back, and we're going to heal these wounds or whatever. They took him straight out of the fryer, and they slapped magic legs on him.
Mm-hmm.
Another magic hand. And fucking the carapace with the fucking breathing apparatus and everything else, right over the charred skin and everything else.
Yeah.
Put the helmet on him, and he still had hair, the head was all singed, still had hair and shit.
Mm-hmm.
They did not even try to heal him.
Right.
They didn't want him to heal. He wanted him to be in pain.
Yep.
The entire point of that suit was for him to be in pain. It was to keep him alive enough for him to feel pain
Yeah.
so that he could use that pain to fucking annihilate everyone else in the galaxy. And which, not so much in the movies, we don't see it, but we know that that's what's happening.
Yeah, because
right?
they've elaborated on that in the comics quite a bit.
Yeah. What's this? Padme died of dysentery? Was she on the Oregon Trail? But yeah, when you're looking at the sequence and you see Hayden Christensen, he's like looking at the mask as it's getting ready to be put on, and you still see all of the remnants of that. And then what's interesting is later when we have Vader in Andor, and before he chokes on his aspirations, and he's in Bacta.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Vader is on Mustafar treating himself.
Yeah.
That's not a Palpatine thing. Like, that's Vader in his own house taking care of that despite Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's Vader with his own agenda. And that's some nerd shit for us.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because Vader's trying to heal and not have to be this charred fucking remnant of a being,
Right.
and actually like heal at some point. Because we also know that Palpatine, like, at one point basically dumps him back in fucking. They dump him in Mustafar, right? It was
somewhere else, but
and then
I know what you're talking about.
Threw the assassin after him. But,
Yeah.
he took his legs and shit away.
Yeah, so
took
he was
all
like a
his-
stump.
Yeah, it took his apparatus away, and all he had was the one magic hand that he had, and that he made in the shop in Tatooine.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you've never watched or read anything else, and just going by the movies, look at Vader being created. Before the mask gets sucked down,
because he's still in like agonizing pain too, because you can see him just writhing on the fucking
what
bed.
What would hurt more than being fucking burned, like 3rd-degree burns like that?
That's
There's
up
not
there.
there's not a human being on this planet that watches that movie and goes like, oh, that burn wouldn't hurt.
Right.
No. Every one of us fucking know that shit would have been fucking painful.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to write that into the story, like, how can I portray somebody who's going to be in just anguish and pain? I'm going to light him on fire.
Yeah.
And leave him for dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then his savior, again, this was all planned. His savior is going to be the one man who put him in this situation in the first place.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's a very good point. So all the more reason for him to betray Palpatine later on. And that's probably shit that he was bitter about the whole time too. All through the original trilogy, he probably still was pissed off at Palpatine for fucking him over like that.
Oh yeah, I think when he realizes how everything went down, it's okay, this is how I'm going to get back at this.
Yeah.
But Palpatine's powerful enough to like know, and all right, he's getting a little too smart. He's getting a little too big for his britches. I'm going to have some sort of side quest for him to go on where I'm going to knock him down a couple pegs.
Yeah. All right, then. Anything else?
For this movie, all I can say is when tickets go on sale, your happy ass should be out there buying tickets to go see this in the theater, because it's one of the best movies of the saga.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And the music is going to fucking blow your hair back in any theater setting that you're in.
Yeah.
And it goes without saying that any Star Wars movie that you can see in the theater at this point every one of these movies was made to be seen in the theater.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
that's what George envisioned.
Yep, you're getting the experience, you're getting the full experience of this movie by seeing it in the theater.
Yeah, and despite us just watching it a couple times recently, we're still going.
Oh fuck yeah!
So even though we've seen it however many times, you cannot pass up a chance to see these things in theaters
because you don't know when it's going to come around again.
Yeah,
God knows what could happen.
Yeah, if at all.
Yeah.
So
All right, we're running late. I'm going to blitz through these fucking happenings.
All right.
ATSW family happenings, because Lunar Girl did go through all the trouble to update the notes, so I'm
Okay.
going to read it.
All right.
Do
it.
Do it. Make the sacrifice. On Wednesday, ATSW Escape Pod might be discussing who they would recast in Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Maybe. But first, they discovered the latest in sports, video games, and hot sheets and weird news and movie time. Join Donnell Snooch, Brady Big Lovin', and Dragon Buddy in the live chat at 19:05, 7:05 Eastern on YouTube. Thursday, Alan and Chris, a.k.a. Frank and Fur, will be discussing the 2023 horror fantasy The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Demeter? Either one. As chosen by one of their Talking Dead. Catch the review at Grave Reviews on YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight. Orange Fetch Show released episode 140, Batman Forever, this past Friday. Catch it on Spotify or Apple, and you will do it. Support the official Sidebar Cantina band till the end. Go to tilltheendofficial.bio.link and buy their shit. Luna Girl bought a couple of teas and is happy to report they are true to size and look sweet as fuck. I will read what's on the teleprompter. No news this past week from Used and Abused or layman's terms, but they're in the chat, so ask them what's going on. So, I don't know why so is there.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us at bio.link You can find us at bio.link / the Sidebar Cantina, where you can find our links to Patreon, YouTube, our audio podcasts on Apple, Audible, and Spotify, all our social media platforms, including X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and Discord. Once you get to the bio link, you simply click the symbols under our pick to go to your platform of choice. You can also find our past Spotify mixtape playlists. Also in the bio link is a TeePublic merch shop. Choose from 7 designs on anything from t-shirts and hoodies to tote bags, phone cases, exclusive stickers and pens, wall art, magnets, notebooks, laptop cases, pillows.
Mm-hmm.
Just about anything you can imagine. Nothing says love like a naked Jason chick on a pillow. Go to bio.link / the Sidebar Cantina and click merch. Reviews?
No new reviews.
Please write us a 5-star review on Apple or Audible. Don't have an Apple or Audible account? Our Facebook page has a review feature too. Just screenshot us a review before you hit done and DM us a pic on Instagram or Twitter with your name and address, and Lunar Girl can send you a super cool ATSW family swag pack. This is your chance to tell us your thoughts on the show. Jason or Jennifer Lopez or Hank or Edith or Mama or Drunk Tom Bocrawl or somebody phone. We'll read your review word for word on our next episode. Let us know who you want to read it. Finally, if you catch us on Spotify, help us out and click those stars. If you are listening to us on audio, please consider joining us in the live chat on Mondays. The chat is most definitely where it's at. If you are new to the Sidebar, please subscribe, ding that bell, select all to receive notifications when we go live. Remember to smash that like button. It really helps us out. Don't be one of those fucking people that watches the entire video and doesn't hit the like button. Like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah, come on, man.
You lazy assholes. And as always, many thanks to our Patreon supporters. You are the reason why we do this. And that is all.
All righty. Well, thanks everybody for sticking around. Next week, we're going to attempt to do the Lords of the Sith book, which takes place like right after this, right? Or soon after episode 3?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Be great. Just keep that story going.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Thank you, everyone. We love you. And until next time, Dave and everybody else, may the Force be with you.
Okay, now what do I click? That came from a weird place.
that was a little odd. All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. I got to end the stream because we got to pack up real quick and get the hell out of here. So, catch you next week. Bye.